call the meeting to order at 3:05. Start with the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Do I have to? Because last time you said I didn't have to take any notes.
Oh, you don't have to take notes, but you can do roll call.
Okay, I will. Okay, Joe?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Glenn?
Here.
Nate?
Here.
And Russ Ross is
Somewhere warm, I think.
enjoying someplace warm. Lucky him. Any conflict of interest? Approval agenda?
Can you add one thing? I had sent you guys this letter, I do have it, just on vacation.
You know what? Why don't we do that under succession checklist for district manager? You wanna do that?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
You know what? Well, yeah, 'cause that's part of that discussion. That's at least how I wrote it.
All right,
Great.
thanks.
Anything else? We get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion that we approve the
Second.
agenda.
Nate? I'll second it. Glenn? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Conflict of interest disclosure twice. We'll correct that next time. Public comment on agenda item. Anybody have any public comment on our agenda? No public comment? Steve, please.
I've got a quick comment that I'd be real brief on, but it's not necessarily on an agenda item.
Do you want to wait for your staff report?
Could do that.
Okay,
Yeah, we could do that then.
perfect. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have approval of meeting minutes. We're gonna have to have two motions, one for October 13th meeting minutes, and then November 13th meeting minutes. Do you all have an opportunity to look at those?
Yes.
All right, any questions on those?
None. I'll move on. You want to do them separately?
Please.
October 13th, I move we accept.
I'll second that.
Nate? Any more discussion? All those in favor indicate aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you. How about November 13th? Any questions there?
None. So moved.
So move to accept November 13th meetings, minutes.
I'll second.
Second again. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you very much. We are now caught up with the meeting minutes. Number 9, treasurer's report.
I gave you guys hard copies, and I know I sent them to you. When we do get down to, where is that? The county financial obligation,
Mm-hmm.
10%. I have all that here, I'll hand it out then, so it doesn't get all confused.
Okay.
Have you all had a chance to look through these? This is a little different now that I'm trying to actually put some substance in the treasurer's report, so. But balance sheet, profit and loss. And
Bills and
the
deposits.
bills and deposits, yeah.
Now, Mike came in, was that last Thursday or Friday, and we went through everything,
Friday.
so.
And this is it?
This is the substance of that report, or that meeting.
Any questions on the treasurer's report? No. Should we entertain a motion to accept it as written, as presented?
Mike, you should probably do that, because we went through it, and the
Yeah.
treasurer.
I move we accept this.
How about a second on that?
second it.
Glenn, is there any other discussion? Ready to vote? All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That carries, thank you. Standing committee reports, personnel?
Yes, we had a working session on taking a first crack at the personnel policy.
Who's
And
we?
that'd be Joe Kaplan, Rory Mattson, myself. And it's gonna take a bit to do, it's very detailed. Looking at other personnel policies at the same time. Everyone is different from districts, so we're gonna try to, utilize whatever we can to, I guess, to revise ours as needed. And, so there's gonna be more meetings coming up for this, I'm sure. It's gonna take us a while, I'm not gonna make a commitment as to when we're gonna have this done. But, be into the next year, obviously. So that's kinda where we stand right now with that.
We had, we pretty much reviewed all the staff input.
Yeah, and I'm
Fair
sorry,
amount.
staff did provide input for that, and we reviewed that, and we'll incorporate as necessary.
Yeah, extensive. I mean, they had all
Extensive,
kinds
yeah,
of
ideas.
ideas.
They did a good job, yeah. Okay, we are going to commence interviews tomorrow for the district manager position, and that's what I got to say on it.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Good. How about property and equipment?
Okay, as far as property and equipment go, the major part of that we'll address at the end of new business. I think there is a spot on the agenda for the removal part of it. The rest of it, as far as that go, we need to create a file at the NRCS building for, I have the plates, permanent plates here. We'll have to file those somewhere, and we should file all our titles and registrations and stuff in one area in the, in our office in the RC building, put in that, and the titles for the property, any land titles and that, so if we can, I don't know if, have you had any more luck rounding any of that up?
No, of course, everything got moved. I helped Mike move the big file cabinets, but otherwise nothing else, so I'm not quite sure where things are, but, I can go down and get all the deeds and stuff too. at the
Okay, we need to
courthouse.
do that, cause we wanna put them all in one place, we wanna keep them in a file, and those should be,
Well, my understanding, when all the files were moved, the stuff that was in the office went to the office.
Stayed in the office,
And then the stuff that was boxed in the basement went to the storage.
went to storage.
right, but we don't have any of the other vehicle titles or the land titles, except for what we found, that the 2 items that we sold.
Right.
So we need to, those need to be rounded up
There's just
and
a
put
gap
in
there,
one
apparently.
area, a file, and on hand where we know where we have access or know where they're at.
So you're talking titles and deeds.
Titles and deeds
For properties,
for properties that we have.
real or other.
The firewood processing, that's almost complete. We have, Rory just submitted the, invoice today. I talked to Adrian, she received it, looked at it, it's what she needed, she'll process it. They'll mail a check to us, and that'll be the end of it, and that'll all go quick, because they have that in hand. She just has to go through the work, and then that part of it will be done.
Right.
You should have an, email
Oh, thank
with
you.
that invoice in there, in your phone. When
When's
you-
that? When?
Just
You
recently,
got the whole phone.
just today.
Cool.
She only copied the top
What was that
page.
for, Mike?
For the, firewood process.
Oh, yeah, that'll come in and all.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
thanks.
I'll-
That's what I was gonna
already
say.
have this, so I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Anything else on that?
No, that pretty much wraps up anything that I have on, on property and equipment at this time.
All right, great. Records. Chris, I have you down for giving an update on the technology report.
I'll hand out the updated report. There's one copy here that has the appendices printed. Otherwise, the copies that I'm handing you do not have the appendixes because it's quite lengthy. So I'll just leave this here for you in case you wanna actually look at the appendix.
Thank you.
just in case.
So are there sections revised in this?
Yeah,
Like
and I'll,
different from the
I'll
first
go,
one?
yep, I'll
Okay.
go through that.
All right.
So, just to recap, what I was asked to do was provide an inventory of technology, owned and operated by the district, or purchased by the district. And then also, to set up individual user accounts for QuickBooks so that any work inside of the financial software would be, you would know through the audit trail who actually did the work versus multiple people using one account, which is the way it was set up previously. And then a few additional actions were asked by board members, which is documented in here. So the work started on October 2nd, and my portion of it is finished as of yesterday, or today, I guess this morning, giving this report, but there is still work to be done, and I'll go through what still needs to be done when we kind of get to the end of it. I wanna just recap, I already said this at the last meeting, but I just wanna recap a little bit. This work was very challenging because purchasing of IT equipment within the district was never very well organized. So purchases were made, but those purchases never included the technology's footprint. So its serial number, its MAC address, who actually was holding that piece of equipment, where its primary location was, those types of things. That was never done, so finding equipment was really challenging, and then trying to tie that to a purchase was, in some cases, almost impossible. So I just I want you to know that the project was challenging, and I think that there are ways that there are things you can do in the future which will make this much, much easier for anyone in the future, which I'll go through at the end. I want to let you know that QuickBooks is set up right now for multi-user login. There are 3 accounts on the system, one for Rory Mattson, and he has full control, no restrictions whatsoever, so he can do anything he needs to inside of QuickBooks. And there are 2 other accounts, one for Joe Kaplan and one for Mike Sigorsky as the treasurer, and they can run reports. So their access is very limited, but they can run reports, that they have access to the data that would generate the report. At the last meeting, when I gave the first report on this, Mr. Mattson had disclosed that there were some USB devices, so little basic, disk drives that are little USB keys, that there was a bag of those in the office in Gladstone. So those have been inventoried as well now. And he also let us know about a credit card machine, which was also inventoried since the last report.
Can I make a quick comment on that, Christine,
Yeah.
just so the board knows? When we moved those files over, I've been trying to look through there and find this stuff. I found, because I think there was only the QuickBooks, the other one, and the EBA originally, that I think we looked at 3 of them. And they're not zip sticks either. Chris corrected me at the last
Zip
one.
drives, oh, is that what?
They're thumb drives, or whatever you wanna call it.
USB, yeah, got it,
Okay.
good.
So that's what they are, so you don't need a machine to bring them up. But I actually found one that said Heather on it, one that said Lori on it, or 2 that had Lori on it, and then some other ones, but they were like, just put in different files. Just a little thing, so I found those.
And is
But
this-
now they're all in a bag.
Yeah, and those, if you want to look at each of those thumb drives, it's in the full report, which when I send you the digital report, you'll have it in a digital format instead of printed. I just didn't want to print all these pictures out. I think it's just not necessary. But you'll see each of those thumb drives in the appendix, and then it's an image of the thumb drive, and then it's just a quick image of the files that are on the thumb drive, so you'll know what's on them.
To the best of your knowledge, are all the computers accounted for now?
No, and I'll get to that. No.
Okay.
So then, the last bit of information relative to additional resources that have been found was on Monday, this past Monday. We were in the office, it was myself, Joe Kaplan and Mike Zagorski, went to the office, and during that visit, there was a computer that was on a shelf under the desk, and and I asked Mr. Mattson, who was standing there, what that machine was, and he indicated that that machine had been found on a shelf under a box in the Pioneer Trail office. And so that machine was then taken for inventory, and it's at DS Tech right now. And I'm gonna get to that machine in a minute here as we look at the hardware purchase of the computer purchases. So that kind of takes you to where we are today. Now I want you to turn on, in the report, you can read the report, it just basically catalogs everything that I did on a day, on the days that we visited the office and so forth. But I want you to turn to page 9. So page 9 starts a table that says technology purchases. And it's purchases that were between the years of 2013 to 2020, or yes, 2023. That's a 10-year period. The reason it starts in year 2013 is because the computers that were found at the Pioneer Trail Park office, what I would consider to be old technology, those were prior to 2013. So machines after 2013 was really what I was looking for, because those hadn't been found at this point. So what I did is I looked at the purchases. So this is out of the audit trail, so the information that's been entered into QuickBooks. And you can see all the yellow rows are technology that was purchased. Okay, so those are pieces of equipment that were purchased. The other rows are technology that kind of paints a picture of what's going on, but they're not actual computers. So like when people have computers serviced, or you buy zip drives or portable drives, it kind of indicates that you might be transferring data, or when machines are needing a lot of service, or you're paying for a lot of service, you're probably going to be upgrading computers soon, because those computers are needing a lot more service than you want to invest in them. So the yellow is computers. And if you turn to the page 10, that goes through 2013 to 2023. There are 18 computers that were purchased from 2013 to 2023. 18 computers. One of the computers was split half and half between the parks money and the conservation district. So we'll consider that half of a machine for conservation district, half of a machine for the parks. So that means that 11.5 computers were purchased for the conservation district, and 6.5 computers were purchased for the parks over that period of time. And that's based on accounts that were charged. Okay? Then if you turn to the next page, which is page 11, that's the technology inventory. So the technology inventory is what was provided, what was given, what was found, and that's all cataloged here. In the top of that inventory table, it shows devices that are in service today. They're being used today. And then I think on the next page, it shows the devices that are out of service. So they're not, we still have them, they're still in the office, they're archived, or they're in storage, but they're not being used. Okay, so there's two parts to that table. Of the devices that are in that inventory, there are 9 that have been found or accounted for that were purchased after 2013. So 18 machines purchased, 9 have been found and accounted for. There are 9 that have not been found or accounted for. There's likely, of those 9, there's probably about 5 that are probably with the county at this point. And I'm not exactly sure, Brandon would have to weigh in on that. But there's a chunk of those machines that are probably with the county. There is, also, Holly Wendrick on Monday let me know, which was very important to know, and I didn't know previously, that the Conservation District purchases equipment that's NRCS, that's set up and configured by the NRCS. And that, there's 2 of those pieces of equipment right now, 2 of those laptops that are in, I believe it's either Washington DC, Virginia, someplace, wherever the NRCS office, Rory can comment, he was in the meeting when Holly let us know this. So there are 2 devices that, we know about that, we don't have any information on. They were purchased, but we don't know what they are, we don't have any information on them.
So you guys know, we got a call today from Lori Kurtak, who's the IT person for NRCS and FSA and the whole shot. And she wanted to know how the new computers were working. So Holly informed her that they're at the, what'd she say?
The depot.
The depot with the feds. So yeah, we bought them and we have to because they're district employees, but using, the federal system. And then they download, like Chris said, all the stuff. But, so she's making an inquiry, cause she said they should have been here. I don't remember when they were ordered, it was quite a while ago.
They were ordered on
September, August?
November 3rd, 2023.
Yeah, I thought it was way back, but, we should have received them weeks ago. So she's checking into it now, and then Holly did get and so did I, a email that basically said, they've been sitting there, but supposedly Lori and, I'm guessing it's Lori and Mike who request to have them sent, even though we paid for them. Paperwork wasn't filled out right, so they're gonna do that, and we should have them shortly,
Okay.
hopefully.
Okay, those 2 computers don't reflect on the total 18 count, so there would actually be 20?
No, they are in the
No.
18.
Oh, they are in
yeah.
18, so there's 16 and then those 2.
There's 18 computers total, including those 2,
Okay.
the NRCS ones. Yep, that were purchased since 2013.
Can you,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you, just clarify something for me? You made a comment that we're gonna need new computers, but we have,
No, you're not gonna, I did not make a comment that you're gonna need new computers.
I could've sworn this, we might need some new equipment, computer equipment.
No.
Okay.
I hope
No,
not.
you have
Well, no, I hope
plenty
not.
of
We're pretty
computer
good.
equipment. You do not need any new computer equipment.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah, no, so in the end, what it sort of boils down to, on page 12, you're gonna see a black area that I crossed out. And this happened, as of this morning. I've crossed this out because I'm not comfortable making this statement yet. But I believe there's going to be 3, computers that we simply don't know where they are at this point. But I'm not 100% comfortable with that yet because there is some additional work that can be done. Once we get, there's one more online store, I think it's called HP Com Store, is where HP Com Store, there were some computers purchased in July 20th from that store. I don't have the login information for that store, so I can't verify which machines were purchased. So I
Of this
can't-
year?
Yeah, of this year. So I can't check against what inventory you have. So until I get the remaining information necessary, I can't cross-check this stuff
Were
for
those
you.
bought online?
HP Com Store is the name of the store that it was purchased from.
So in the details of that, it says new computers, those were authorized on the June 20th, 2023 board meeting.
Yeah, so at the June 20th, 2023 board meeting, Van Dam had motioned and Ross seconded to purchase up to 3 laptops and 1 additional computer from NRCS. So presumably, and I can't state this for fact, but presumably, one of the computers is the one that was purchased on 8/20/2023, which is a new office computer, and that Rory Mattson was reimbursed for, so Rory Mattson used personal funds to purchase that computer. That was purchased down at Best Buy. And that computer is the computer that was under the shelf, that was discovered on Monday, and that Rory said was on a shelf in the Pioneer Trail Park office under a box. So that computer was purchased, actually it was purchased in July of 2023, but it was reimbursed on August 20th of 2023. I do have the credentials to log into Best Buy, so I was able to see what was purchased, and that machine was purchased on that day. And
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, the reason for that purchase is Holly, and I think even Tina. We had one that they were using for the office, and it was heating up. That's the one I think you guys knew about, that I brought to DS Tech, because it kept heating up and shutting down, heating up and shutting down, so I've never used that one. But, so we brought it to DS Tech, but he said both fans were working, but it didn't matter what we did, if we kept it flat, it would just overheat and shut down, so I think you might have asked me the other day, I don't remember, there's so much going on, but we bought that little stand,
Mhm.
so it was up in the air so it could breathe, and that seemed to help a bunch, but that's the one that was down below that I think you guys took home quite a while ago. And the one that's underneath now, I believe that was the replacement. I'm not into it like Christine, so I mostly go by color. So, what they wanted me to check is the 3, so that one's accounted for, both of them actually, the replacement and the other one. But they wanted me to check and see if we really did buy 3 computers, even though it's in the minutes, to get that many, or we only bought 2.
so I presume you bought 3, because if you look at the receipts for that day at Best Buy, and I'm assuming that you probably had to use your own credit card to purchase one of them, is because the purchase for the other 2 was $3,073. I don't know if there's like a limit on the credit card.
I think it was 2 different days, I'd have to look back,
It's
it's
the
hard to remember.
same day.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the same day.
Then it probably might have been.
And it was in the store down in Green Bay, so there were 3 computers purchased, it was 3 different laptops. 2 that are similar, or the same laptop, and then this one that was this HP Envy 17.3 laptop. Anyways, the purchase, the reason why it says Rory J. Mattson, and you'll see another one up on February 1st of 2021, where it says Rory J. Mattson as the name or the vendor, it's because and then there's another one on June 30th of 2013. It's typically when you buy with your own funds and then get reimbursed.
Yeah,
So,
cause we go down to Best Buy, and for some reason, we tried to run the district card, but they would not give the 600 off. Don't ask me why. So I called Jack right away, he was the treasurer, Russ, and I said, okay, do you want 600 off, or do you want me to use the card? I can use my personal and just get reimbursed, and that's what we did.
Okay. So what it all boils down to at this point is, there are still machines that have not been inventoried. They're either, they're just somewhere, I don't know where they are at this point. So, there are machines that have not been inventoried or accounted for, so there is still work to be done.
Of those 3 laptops, we only accounted for 1 thus far.
Say what?
Of those 3 laptops, we've accounted for 1?
Of the 3 that the June meeting,
Mm-hmm.
no, I believe the 3 have been purchased. There were 2 purchased on June 20th of 2023, and there was there were 3 machines purchased on June 20th,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But because one was purchased with a personal credit card, it wasn't reimbursed until August 20th. So from the financial picture, it looks like it was purchased on August 20th, but it wasn't, it was purchased in June.
But all 3 of them are accounted for at this time.
Yes.
We know where they're at.
Yeah, we know where they are.
Okay.
Mhm.
I would imagine we have invoices of receipts for everything for
Mhm.
this?
Yeah,
Where would all that be?
In the files.
I don't know where it is. Don't look at me.
And these Parks computers, like the Split,
The split one, so any of the QuickBooks, and I can say going back in time, back prior to 2013 as well, a machine that runs QuickBooks was always split between the parks and the district, which makes sense because the software is using, it's accommodating both parties, so.
Does the county have these computers, you think?
No, I'm guessing that's the QuickBooks computer.
What is?
The one that we have is QuickBooks.
The one the laptop that you have in the office right now?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's the QuickBooks.
But I'm talking about the computers that are unaccounted for. Could some of those be back with the county?
Well, I know that Brandon came in, so I did wanna get a hold of him here. There was one that Steve had, Steve can vouch for it, it got a virus and it just poof, it was gone. So that one, we disconnected it and it was sitting between the wall and the desk. And then, of course, Brandon's been in a lot, but, I don't think that one was split. I think we purchased it, through park money or just, I have to look back. But that one was for Steve to use.
Yeah, so that's because there's someone else who's been coming in and getting technology equipment. I don't know where some of that equipment went.
So would
It's
Brandon be the
county-
only person that could come in and take a computer?
I would guess,
Okay.
Yeah,
or,
so,
or hope. And I know, that, I asked him when he came in, cause he's an IT person too, for the county, I said, check it out and see if it's salvageable, if it's not. But I know we also bought and paid for 2 computers. I can't remember where it was, and I told Christine and Joe that, and I think, Mike, that, and Ashley may know about it. We purchased them with park money this year, but they're the county's new ones that will go into the park. Yes.
so
So
I believe.
Brandon has those.
I believe that was on August 17th of 2023. It says it has the vendor as Delta County, and it says new park office computers. And it was, the parentheses in the table, notice down below, it says note, items in parentheses in the table have been added for clarity. I added them for clarity. So I'm assuming those are 2 computers. That's what Rory had mentioned, was that the park had bought 2 computers. And so I
Well, we
put 2
didn't,
computers.
yeah, the park bought them, but we didn't buy them. Brandon did it, he's supposed to have them, cause I know Steve's getting a new one and that, tower one out front. And then also, I believe, we'd have to look back, that there was like hardware, to put them wherever and also in the basement. Brandon's handling all that, and it's way above my head. And then also some security stuff. I don't know if it's a, security system or cameras, but they plan to install all that. My understanding from Brandon here 3 weeks ago or 2 when I inquired, he's having problems. I don't know if he solved them, but we got him everything he needed. All the connection, whatever, that he had to do it, but Spectrum, he's having a problem with that, so. I haven't gotten into it, cause like I said, it's way above my pay grade, and that's the county. But because we had park funds still left over, and quite a bit, that's what, Brandon said, that just to use that money to pick it up. And I think I talked to Ashley too, is that right? Okay, good.
So
Trying to
that's-
remember back.
So that's where the purchase for the,
Brand new computer, so we have
It's-
4 computers.
right, the ones that are sitting there, the
They're
ones in the basement,
I don't think the
security
computers are
system.
there.
No, the security system's there, brand new in the boxes. That was all purchased with park
Park
funds.
money.
Yeah, so we have 4 purchases with computers. 2 are at the, what is it, the depot? With NRCS, haven't got them, and the other one Brandon has them, the other 2. So that's 4. That we don't have, but they were purchased with us, by us, cause they had.
By us?
The 2 were purchased through
Why
the
does
park
Brandon
money.
have 2 of the ones that were purchased by
No,
us?
well, they were
It was
purchased by
charged to
us,
the
but
parks.
park money, 2 of them through district money.
Okay.
I got some questions on that, but I'm gonna save that for old business under the county's financial obligation. I don't know if you're thinking the same thing I am, but,
Another thing I just wanna note real quick is in the technology inventory, so that's on page 11, you'll see 2 green rows. And that's just to highlight the fact that when I was in there on November 1st and I inventoried the desktop computer that was on the desk, when I went in on December 12th, which was yesterday, is that right? Yesterday, it's a different computer. So, this swapping of computers out just makes it really challenging to actually catalog stuff. But I just need you to know that the computer that's there now is that second line. It's a Lenovo desktop, and it's, I just state which one it is, so.
And you don't know where the Dell one is now?
I have no idea. No.
where's the Dell?
I have no idea. I mean, it could've been Brandon coming in and swapping it out. We don't know. I'm just giving you the information that is,
Wasn't the Dell the one that ran QuickBooks, or am I wrong?
No, QuickBooks is out at the NRCS office, not at the park office.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
So you guys actually have two at home though, correct?
No, they're at, DS Tech
Oh,
has.
okay, they're somewhere, cause I think
Yeah.
two were taken out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are in storage, but those are prior to 2013. So those are really old machines. But they are in storage in case you decide that you want to try to get data off of them, or, you know, you wanna take a look at them. Those are in storage.
Some of those might be parked?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would expect they
There's
would.
no, the problem is when all this technology gets purchased, typically you have a procurement policy around your IT equipment. So when you purchase it, you're cataloging the information that is specific to that device, and then you're specifying who that device has been checked out to, where its primary location is, how it's being used, and then when you take it back and you decommission it, you have a decommissioning policy that states how you archive the data and how you clean the machine prior to it either being disposed of or sold. You know, so typically there's a process around technology like this, so that you can track it. But that's not the case here. There's just been no tracking at all. So it's been very challenging to figure out what device belongs to what purchase. That's been very challenging.
Can I ask again, this is,
Yep.
it's challenging for my brain right now.
Mm-hmm.
How many computers are not accounted for?
There's 9 that are non-accounted for that do not have actual specific inventory information on them.
Okay.
I believe the county probably has 4 or 5 of those. And then there are 2 other machines, which are, one is Holly uses and one that Lindsay uses, that are NRCS computers, but that were purchased through Conservation District dollars, that potentially could be inventoried and tracked at this point. So that leaves us about 2 or 3. So my opinion on it right now, based on where I am, is there are 3. There are 3 computers, I have no idea where they are, and they've not been inventoried.
What's the county's procedure for tracking this kind of technology?
I would contact Brandon on that. He inventories all of our technology,
Okay.
his list. And actually, I've been in contact with him, and the only computer he has ever touched is the one at the front, and he did not remove it. And the only time he entered those offices, or the conservation, was when the offices were already empty. He says, they emptied the offices before I did anything, although, he did mount the equipment in the basement, so he has not removed any computers
Okay.
from the conservation district, or
So
from
who
the.
swapped the computers?
So,
Anyways,
I only had 2 that I ever used, and they're both accounted for.
okay. And so that's the hardware technology inventory at this point. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done there. But I wanna point out something I came across in, the review of technology purchases that I added into the report, and it's on page 12. And it's a renewal for Jack's email for 2 years. So the district paid $251.64 for renewal, and I think it's safe to assume that that's Jack Herrick's email. And so I just think that you need to ask some questions about that, and what that might pertain to.
Well, I can guarantee you it's not Jack's, because Jack has no computer, and I never could do email with Jack, Dave, Nelson, or Russ. They always got hard copies, so I haven't.
Okay.
Who's this Phantom Jack then?
It's in your QuickBooks, it's entered as renewal of Jack's email for 2 years.
Oh, could that be one of these?
Oh, you know what that is then? If that, I'd have to look back, but I'm guessing, and maybe Rachel can help on this, that we had to get an email for the chairman to be able to send grants here a little bit, so that's why probably it says Jack. But Jack has no personal computers, nothing, so it literally, also I got permission, I think you were on, otherwise we'd get a hold of Polowitz. It's hard to remember how long ago, that not only did they send it to Jack, because it came to my computer, that I also then got permission as to be CC'd. So I could tell Jack it was there, and he could come in and, what do we wanna call it?
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's what that is.
Okay, there is no Jack Herrick email in GoDaddy though. That's just,
No, cause he never had it.
yeah. Well, no, it doesn't exist in GoDaddy. So GoDaddy, in this QuickBooks entry, it specifies that renewal of Jack's email for 2 years. So whatever that's pertaining to, there is no domain email account in GoDaddy, in your domain, that is for either a chairman or Jack Herrick.
Okay.
There is no
maybe-
email. There is only deltacd@deltacd.org, Foya@deltacd.org, Rory Matson @deltacd.org, and I can't remember the fifth one,
So maybe his was Delta or for Delta or whatever, CD, but there was a place where he could come in and
Seems like, yeah,
CE
it's
signature.
these GoDaddy domains change, they just disappear.
Yes, so I would like to point out that at the last meeting, I had made a comment that there was something very odd about a
Invoice.
GoDaddy invoice. And I did write that up in here. I finally was able to talk to a GoDaddy specialist about this, and on page, hold on here real quick, I'll find it for you. Page 3. So on page 3, the last paragraph talks about it. So on this invoice in GoDaddy, I had seen an invoice from 2019 that had Tina Vanderlinden's domain email address, which just seemed just like not right, because she wasn't employed prior to 2023. So how can that be? So I got on a phone call with a specialist at GoDaddy, and what was determined is that on June 25th of 2023, the domain account for Steve Wary had been edited by Diane Matson, and that was changed to Tina Vanderlinden. So all the historical reports, which pull from live data, all those historical reports had been updated, which means the invoice from 2019, which previously said Steve Wary @deltacd.org, now said Tina Vanderlinden. So it basically wipes out the history. It's a problem on their end because they use live reports, and if you, as an administrator on GoDaddy, edit an email instead of deleting it and re-adding a new one, you will cause the reports to be updated with new information. So that's, there was no invoice with Tina Vanderlinden. She did not have an account in 2019. So we know that for a fact, which was a good thing to get closure on. So, lastly, I wanna go through, under the documents and email accounts, which starts on page 13, this talks about, public records and, whether you have all of your public records or not. There are a lot of public records that are on various pieces of equipment, and especially on these little USB drives. And in the report that has the appendices, you'll see just kind of an overview of what is there. We do need to do a comparison of what's on those USB keys to the data that had been removed from the laptop that DS Tech ran the deep scan on, to verify if there's any documents on that laptop that were deleted that are not on those USB drives. But there is quite a bit of public records that are in what I would consider to be disarray. There's not a really comprehensive way in which stuff is organized or kept. It's just, it happens all the time. Digital records can get out of control, and they seem to be kind of all over the place on a lot of various different pieces of equipment. And I don't know how things are being backed up and how they're being backed up, where they're being backed up.
And part of that reason, so the board knows, is each grant And the individual doing that grant kept their own computers, their own backup, their own data. And then, of course, the main one that was in the office, that one probably was transferred, if you go back to 13, probably through 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go today, 5 different managers. So, you know, they might have, Rory has no idea.
So I guess hearing that, I would just recommend to the board that you come up with a policy and a process that dictates how you store data and how that data is transferred when employees come and go. Because that kind of policy or kind of acceptance of how you manage data is just unacceptable. You can't have data just all over the place and have no catalog of it. It needs to be organized, and you need to know where it is.
Well, eventually, we're gonna have to go through, because we have new retention policy too in the district. Of
Absolutely,
what
which is a
is to
good
be
thing.
retained and what isn't to be retained or had, you know.
Which
So
will be
that's-
really good, because then you can get rid of some of this old data that's being
Well,
carried around.
that's my point, is that it, you know, having sat through an hour and whatever that was with the retention process, there is probably stuff we can,
Mhm.
cause.
And clear out, yeah, absolutely.
Question for Rachel. Do you have what do you think about all this? I mean, have you you must have seen this before, or?
I have, probably not to this scale, and I would agree with Chris, like, you have to have an inventory policy. Your unit of government purchasing anything with taxpayer dollars, you should be able to track it. And you should be cataloging it, and you should be reviewing it yearly, so.
So we're obligated to like Michigan libraries, cause like you sent, I think it was you who forwarded or Roy forwarded documents from the archives that included our creation in 1950. So that's down in the archives. I don't know how. So does Michigan Libraries, I mean, are they available for that sort of?
They are, so
assistance?
you can ask the Archives of Michigan to permanently store some of your documents, but I will say that they're not just gonna accept whatever you wanna hand them. They're very picky about what they will keep, and I would say that most of your stuff you should be keeping locally. The things that you would hand off to them would be mostly your organization. If you were to merge or break apart from a county, those historical documents they would keep forever, but it's really limited what they'll store. So those origination documents, they had a copy of, but your
Right.
office probably had the main copy,
Oh, gotcha.
so.
And we might still.
And as far as I understand, they don't have anything else. That was the paperwork that was found.
Okay, great.
Was just the origination documents.
So, in summary, there are still a lot of outstanding issues that need to be resolved. There are public records that, I feel have not been accounted for, and Jack Herrick's email, or the board chair email, whatever we wanna call that, where are those documents? You know, so, and then we have, Tina Vanderlinden and Diane Mattson, their email accounts had been deleted on June 25th, or I think that's the right date. So there's a lot of things that were deleted without archiving the data. And so there still are a lot of potentially missing records and missing devices. So again, I would recommend to the board you develop a policy. That policy would include decommissioning as well, and data integrity. And then lastly, if you need to, regarding devices that are unaccounted for, you can always reach out to law enforcement if you cannot recover those devices, if you feel you need to do that. So that's where it stands at this point. And any other questions I can answer.
I don't have any questions, just to make a comment.
Stick it to questions. Or you can, yeah.
Oh, I was just to extend our appreciation
Oh, yeah, for sure.
for the details, very detailed analysis. And,
It was a lot.
showing us the hill we're gonna climb here yet.
Yeah, it was a lot more work than I had anticipated,
Mhm.
because I had really expected to come into it thinking that there would be more of an inventory.
Mhm.
With no inventory whatsoever, it's just a really challenging task. So your new manager, whomever your new manager will be, this can be a document that can guide them in the right direction to finish this process. But I think that your new manager should probably take this and finish it at this point.
I will express, I do have concern about where the computers are.
Oh, I do too.
And, are they sitting in a box out in that storage place, or where are they?
I don't know which storage place you're talking about.
Out in Gladstone, the storage unit.
There are no computers in
No.
there.
You went through the boxes?
Oh, yes.
Those
Yeah,
are
there are no
spec-
computers
Oh,
out
I
there.
didn't know whether the specific boxes
We
were
purchased
yours.
those.
No.
Okay, okay.
I guess we can discuss
Went
this.
through
Yeah.
everything. My concern would be on the two email addresses of Diane Massett and Tina Vanderlyn, being that those both those addresses were deleted. That also means that all the correspondence and everything associated with those addresses are gone.
So the way that the domain email addresses work is, they had been deleted, and then, it wasn't known that they were deleted until a later date, which then, once it was known, I recovered those email accounts, but the data that was in them had been deleted earlier, and so GoDaddy has like a 90-day policy, so anything that was deleted, 90 days goes by and it's sort of permanently deleted. Now, you could, with a subpoena, you could get them to get records older than 90 days. But on the dashboard that you have available to you as an end user of that product, 90 days is your limit. And there was no backups on those email accounts set up. So there's no like cataloging of the emails that had come and gone out of those accounts that would be there long term. It was just their sort of standard policy of, 90 days.
So there is a lot of,
There's some email, but not much.
there's a lot missing, is what I'm saying.
I'm
Most-
assuming.
The majority of it's gone.
Mhm. Yeah. And I don't know where the board chair email, whichever that was, however that was defined, I don't know what happened with that as well. GoDaddy, when I was on the phone with them, they said you will need a subpoena to get the historical records. They will not disclose them, without legal action, so there's nothing that I can do for you relative to that, so.
Any other questions? Thank you. I just have one, for public records, FOIA. Is there anything in here that would need to be redacted?
I did redact it. Yeah, in the.
No, I mean anything in here that would be a FOIA exclusion, any personal
Yes,
information?
there is, but I redacted it. So in the, one that has the appendices,
Yeah,
you'll see redacted areas. So,
Okay.
yes, there are some areas that were, there were some items that, were redacted, yeah, personal
you're
information.
gonna have to work with me on that, cause we already have a FOIA request for it.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem.
But the last one didn't.
No,
Okay, but this one does.
yes, yeah. And there's a document, in between these two documents that has all the track changes that I made from the first version to this
Okay.
final version. But I didn't include that because it's a pain to try and read. But it does have all the changes that were made from the original, report to this one.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
thanks.
welcome.
Cool. Moving right along. Oh, the only other, I have one, I was, at Pioneer Trail Park office yesterday, and in that basement, there's a bunch of historical documents associated with the parks of Delta County. So I have those.
Yeah, we never touched them,
Yeah,
whenever
yeah,
we
some-
moved in, we
it's-
just
yeah,
left them on the
Steve-
shelf.
So I have them, and I'll work with the district, or, the county to relinquish those, but there's some old stuff in there that's super interesting, so. Maybe even worthy of the Michigan Archives. All right, that's it. Finance. Do you have anything, Michael?
met with, Nicolay Bank, and, had a discussion about, FDIC, limits, and they have a CDARS, CEDARS program that allows monies above 250,000 in deposits to be moved amongst other banks so that no other bank would have above 250,000, so that monies that are districts would not be at in jeopardy of a loss if there's banking collapse. So looking into, and it will be, moving some of our monies to be protected. But might be a while yet.
Okay, yesterday when I went to pick up a FOIA request, the CDs were turned over, so those were renewed.
Yeah.
So I spoke with, the deposits person this morning more about
Right.
the sort of the security insurance that we talked about the last meeting. And so basically what it is we qualify to have sort of that insurance, that pledge, I'm still on that. Yeah, it's basically just a securities pledge that they will back it with securities that they hold. And so, like their pledge value is $131 million, and right now they've pledged like 30 million. So those CDs are waiting for my signature, but they've already been turned over.
Renewed, yes.
So, I mean, what I would recommend is asking for what that securities pledge would be, signing that, and then make a determination whether or not we want to take penalty for early withdrawal, or just let it for the year.
For a year?
Yep.
Well, it seems logical.
And I mean, we do
Maybe.
have, right,
As long as they're
so,
secure.
yeah, it wouldn't be FDIC, but.
No, I understand.
But,
It's a private insurance company, basically. and-
no, it's actually the bank. So.
Really?
That's
Yes.
private.
It's a private bank, but it's not insurance, it's just pledged securities. So within their portfolio, their par value is like 150 million. You know, they have a suite of securities, you know, bonds, government bonds, those sort of things. So they write a pledge of security against our holdings for the full amount. So anything over 250 would be covered by a securities pledge.
Okay.
And this is fairly common, I mean, it's, you know, it's available online, but like Delta County does it, there's a lot of townships, so this is not anything unique. And, unless there's a real concern that First Bank fails in the next year, I think that would be zero. But if they fail, then, you know, it's all paper money, and we got bigger issues,
Yeah,
so,
we do.
Joe, can I make a quick comment?
Please do.
You know, you were gone.
Yep.
So I got Mike because the CDs were gonna roll over.
Yep.
But at the same time, I did check with First Bank and I did check with Peninsula Credit. I mean, I checked with everybody, but they were the two at the top. So Peninsula will go above this credit union, the 250, because they will insure up to 1.25. And First Bank would do anything, like you said, up to their millions of dollars. It's my understanding that when they make this pledge, that money has to be set somewhere, you know, kinda, but it's
Correct.
really not.
Yeah, that's my
So it's not like
understanding, too.
Fort Knox, so we got a great rate there for one, that's why we just put it in for 1 year, 5.5, for that year, and there's there's quite a few CDs. So I feel it's just as safe. I know when you were checking in, and you had told us, I think the last meeting, I went back down and I just talked to the bank itself, not necessarily on ours. So it should be real safe, but when those rolled over, if you pull them out this fast, you may not only lose whatever interest, which is very some, you may lose some of the principal, like a fee.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
didn't get into that.
I don't think I would
but-
touch them for a year.
No, no,
I think they're
yeah,
very safe.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think they're safe too, but, you know, I feel I need some board direction on whether or not I should sign those, cause they've already been opened.
I agree. We need to, come to, an agreement.
I'm in favor, they renewed, I'm in favor.
Do you wanna make a motion to have me sign off and?
I'll make a motion that Joe Kaplan signs off on our,
And then move forward on the banking. Yeah, we're just making that commitment.
okay, and move forward on the bank, that's fine.
You wanna have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Oh, you will, okay.
Yes.
Do you want any more discussion?
Because then we're done and we'll look at it
We're-
in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
upcoming
we can
years.
make- Yeah,
So, yeah, we have it now, it's set, anything we do now is gonna cost us, let it ride out.
and I
I agree
yeah.
with Glenn on that,
And
so
I,
I'll
before,
second it.
okay, and I would say, you know, before I sign anything, I'll get the letter specific to
Please.
to the Delta Conservation District. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries, thank you. All right. Think we're done with finance?
Yes.
Excellent. Parks and Forest Cornell, I put that
By
under
the
new,
way,
I put that under new business.
under finance, we do have to pay the bills.
No, that's under pay the bills.
Where's that at?
Second
Uh,
page.
That's always new business A.
It is.
Cool. All right, MDR report.
Do you have a copy?
Rachel Guth.
Do you have a copy?
I sent it to you guys. I had no idea.
I didn't
Quite a
print
while
it
ago.
out, but
We had it out a few weeks ago, right?
When-
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's a couple if you guys want.
Oh, yeah, okay.
this is MDR partner report.
It's December's.
Yep.
Here, I have this one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Oh, about your partner report.
There
Or
it
in
is.
general? I don't know that there's anything in my partner report that I need to go over.
No, I don't think so, not for me. I do have a couple questions, though, in general. Anything on the partner report? Anybody wants?
I read it before.
I wanted to ask, I did not receive, we need a signature to move forward on our grant funding, right? I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Rachel and I communicated about, there's a form that needs to be signed.
Yep, so it's basically any time that you receive any sort of federal funding, and several of your grants through MDARD have federal funding attached to them, and basically what it says is if you have this much money, you have to get a more expensive, more thorough audit by the federal standards, which you don't need to do, but you need to sign off and say that. It's a requirement of our grants, and it's holding up executing all 5 of the grants you have with MDARD.
And all it requires is a signature,
Mhm.
whose signature?
So it normally goes to the manager. After chatting with Joe, he asked me to have it sent to him,
Well,
and I
yeah.
asked our unit to.
Unless you have it, you have it.
It's A, right?
Yep.
Appendix A or
Yep.
whatever. Normally, it's done when the grants are sent in, but you guys just did it, and I didn't have part of that, cause it's only 2 of them, and that's the federal grants, correct?
Yep, it's C-type.
So it's just the 2 C-ties, it's not the rest of them. And so, I couldn't even remember if it's signed at the bottom, I thought it was just filled out.
You fill it out, and I think there's a signature line.
I don't, there might not be, but.
Did you get it?
Either way. Well, when I got back from, vacation, yes, and it's just something that can be flipped in right away. You can't get money till January anyway, so
No, no,
I'm getting
but-
it there. But
Oh, so
basically.
it's not holding up the money, it's just, we just
Well-
can't.
It's the last thing that's gotta be done.
Okay.
One of our grants is the operating grant, and it's 5 payments, so all of the other grants are quarterly. So all of the reimbursements come in January, but our operating grant is 5 payments, so we have an initial payment that you can get as soon as your grants are executed.
Yeah, I mean, if I would've gotten it, I would've signed it. I
Well,
haven't received
okay,
it, so
but
if you
remember-
have it,
Yeah, well, it's on the computer, so this is what I need to know, that's why we waited for this or I waited for this meeting. Do you want to do it? When I came back from vacation,
No.
okay, after hunting season, I could have flipped it, but I know you guys like to be involved, and because I was not part of the initial sending in, those got missed, which is no big deal. So, do you want me to do it? Because I did get an authorization letter from who? Stacy or?
You don't need an authorization, Lori.
Well, no, she sent something,
Attachment A always goes to the district manager.
okay.
Yes, do it.
But, what's her name, Stacy, she sent another email that says I have, and they were hooking me up because I wasn't on there, so the email says you're hooked up, you can do this, but I wanted to wait for this meeting for the purpose of, do you wanna do it, or do you want me to?
No.
I mean, we
no,
didn't lose
no,
out on
no.
any money, we didn't do anything.
Yeah, we need.
Okay.
We need you to do it and do it immediately.
Well, you guys like to sign stuff.
No.
No.
No, we don't need to sign.
I don't know where you got
Okay,
that idea.
well, I've been taking off everything for a signature, but I knew it, that's why I wanted to know, this is one thing I can sign?
No,
Of
this is
course.
one thing you
Okay.
need to sign, and you need to
Well-
sign it immediately and get it back so that
Right.
this is taken care of
Right,
before.
Oh, you got this.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, this just came today.
This came today,
Okay.
and I signed it all in my last board meeting.
Oh,
today.
so it's done?
It's done,
Okay.
Oh, so it's done?
yeah. But
So
I like the
when I asked her to
conversation.
send it to you, she probably sent it to Mike.
She
because
sent it to
he
Mike as he
the
signed it.
grant.
Okay, so you signed it?
I did, it's in.
'Cause it's
It's
usually signed when the grants get sent
Yeah,
in.
if you ever have a question, just, send an email and ask, and we can easily answer.
Well, you would've had to make the motion here, I felt. That's
No,
what-
no, we don't have to motion for a
Okay.
signature
All right.
to execute stuff. I mean,
Can I get a clarification? Can you, under the fund facts for conservation districts, districts must
It's really
file
fun.
the federal W-3s, and I was just, can you give me just a brief explanation of that?
So those are your tax liabilities for the year.
Mhm.
So, as you give all of your employees the copy of their W-2s, you also have to submit a copy, we call the W-3, to the feds, which summarizes all of your staff, and you send them also a copy of the W-2s. So these are just your year-end tax reporting duties.
Yep, and we talked with Rory about that,
And
and
the
that's.
W-3 goes to
that's
Social
un-
Security and the feds.
Yeah, that's under like L, succession, checklist for district manager.
Oh, okay, so I'll ask them if they've all been collated.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
They haven't. but they
All
will
right,
be,
all right,
so.
okay, thank you.
And I forwarded thank you so
Thanks.
much for that email that
Mhm.
outlined everything that needs to be done. And according to Rory, back me up if I'm characterizing this incorrectly, but this is really sort of a QuickBooks
Mhm.
plug and chug.
Yeah,
And you understand it,
100%.
but you understand it too, right?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think the W-3, the W-2s go to the employees, they have to be done, I believe, by the end of January like normal. I don't remember if it's second, or the 28th or whatever. And then the W-3 has to be in, I think, by sometime in February, I can't remember what it is.
Right, cool. Is that it, Rachel?
Yeah, unless you have anything you want me to talk about, I feel like that's all I have for you.
All right, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So where we're at right now, as far as the district, once this was taken care of, which it's already taken care of, we're good moving forward on all of our grants, all of our.
Yep, yeah, so that was the last piece we needed for MDR to sign off and execute all 5 of your grants, which then, a copy will probably go back to you, Mike, since you're the original signatory on that. You'll have a copy
I
of
did
all of
ask.
them.
Yes.
And then, yeah, first quarter reporting is due January 7th.
Except I can apply, which I have it ready, a invoice for the 8,000 for operations. Cause there's
Yep.
5, there's only 4 quarters usually, but in this grant, you get 5 payments. So now that that's signed, I'll just flip the invoice in the next day or two and we'll get 8,000.
All right. CCS and on that, if you will.
Mhm.
Or at least me, just,
Yep. Well, I always do Mike for sure, cause he's the treasurer, right,
Perfect.
it's money,
Thank
but,
yeah, just do the chair and the
Just do-
treasurer.
okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. NRCS? Nothing.
Nothing there. Staff reports, the board did receive reports from Michaela and Lindsay, CTI and our FAP, Forrester, and that's much appreciated.
So you know on that too, Holly takes care of me, I think 6 counties, if I remember right, or close to that. And they've been bugging the heck out of her to go up to Alger. She went last night and made that commitment, so
Right.
that's good for her.
Right. Cool. Moving along. Commissioner Barron, liaison.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stack. Wow.
The most
Steve,
important
right?
one.
Steve Wary,
Steve.
our unsung hero. My apologies.
Not a problem.
Take all the time you want.
It'll be short and sweet, but I just really wanted to thank the Conservation District and whole. February would be 13 years of employment working for the district. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed managing the county parks for the county. I feel that through the district, we've done an awful lot to improve the county parks, the facilities, and get the financials where I think the county board will be proud of to have it there. This will probably be my last meeting for the district. That's why I wanted to make sure I was here. I'll be moving on as a county employee January 1st. And the parks are always a work in progress. And I am very excited for the future for the county parks. And I feel that they're gonna do very well. I also think the district is gonna do very well. And I just wanted to thank the county board also. It's good to work with people. When you work together, you make progress. And I respect every seat that a county commissioner sits in, a district board sits in. They're not always popular seats to sit in, but yet the work must be done. But if we work together, we all gotta remember who we work for, and it's the taxpayer. And I just wanna thank you very, very much for the time spent here with various different members, including you guys as of late. And so I just got the countertop finished for you guys at the NRCS office. If there's anything as a district employee I can do to help the last couple weeks for you guys through the transition, night or day, just call me and it'll be done. But I thank yous very much.
Oh,
And I would like to thank you, Steve, for all the help you've given us in the transitioning with the park. It's been great. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I think you will do great things for the park. I think that the county is lucky to have a person of your caliber and your experience and your dedication to carry the park forward. If there's any type of failure at the park, I can guarantee you it's not gonna be a Steve Weary problem.
Failure's
you
not
that.
an option.
it's clear.
But with that being said, it takes a team, not one person. And what we've done with the district, we did it as a team of people, and we're gonna do that with the county. With my engagement with Ashley Young, it's been awesome. And I think we're excited for what we can do in the future to make the residents very, very proud. I'm just happy to have had the time spent.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
That's what I
Honest to
plan to
goodness,
do.
I mean, if there's
God
one thing,
willing.
if there's one thing everyone agrees upon is the parks really are special to this county.
They've come a long way, I will say that.
No question about it. So, yeah, thank you very much. You are the quiet, unsung hero of all this, for sure.
Thank you.
And best of luck with the county.
After January 1st, though, you're gonna have to look for a new Sherpa, because I'm gonna be out.
I knew what?
A new Sherpa.
A new helper.
You know what Sherpas, that's in Nepal, that's
In
the
Nepal,
people.
the guy that carries the pack up the mountain.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's usually one.
Cause I'm gonna retire.
It's usually one climber to the top of Everest and 10 people carrying their stuff, so you're.
Well, that's why I took and built that long step at the entrance of the park, climb it 10 times daily.
There you go. But it's been a pleasure, Steve. I've enjoyed every
Likewise.
minute of it.
Likewise.
Every minute of it.
Fantastic, so,
So-
thank you.
And thank you too, Rory, for being able to work together and your leadership also.
No problem.
Fantastic. All right, thank you. Any other staff reports? All right, Commissioner Barron, how are you gonna follow that up?
I'm not gonna try to follow it up.
Excellent.
So we're just gonna comment on, we had our board meeting last Tuesday, we'll have another one this coming Tuesday. We haven't had one, we only had one meeting in November, so it had been a month or so between. Items pertaining to the parks and the forest, which pertains to the SCD. There was several motions made, or at least two for sure. There was one motion was not to have any more work done on the county forest, as we've received a letter informing us of a plethora of complaints that they have, and that will be answered as far as in short form before the 22nd of this month, and with a request for an extension until the 1st of April, so that a complete report can be put forth. There's been multiple times of these complaints, and this needs to be, this report that will be put together will clarify the history of the parks, past all the way up to present, and this will be something that the trust fund will have on hand, so that if there's complaints in the future, I think they can be rectified fairly quickly. Also, with that letter of request is that we would get a copy of the complaints, because it's hard to address complaints if you don't know what they are. Also, those that, the complaints, and also those that file the complaints, because my contention is that verbal complaints are hearsay, and without a name behind them, there's no complaint. So that will be part of it as it comes forward. And that motion was passed by the board. Another that, as we part with the Soil Conservation District, that at the end of this year, that this month, that any equipment that the Soil Conservation District has that be removed from the county properties. We want to get this break as clean as possible. So I think those are two main things. Of course, the board did get a big report from the airport situation, but that's another issue. So, any questions?
I have a question, and I've been listening to some of these interviews on the radio. The biggest concern we now have as a board regarding those ponds is liability. If an action arises from someone getting hurt on those ponds that were put in, we don't want to be held liable for it. That was the driving force of modifying them. And that hasn't been addressed by the commission. There's a sign there that says danger, wildlife ponds, deep water, stay away with concrete barriers. That's not how we want. There's two facts that are important. One is the county paid for those ponds, but the district put them in. So whose liability are those ponds? When I see a sign that says danger, someone's got to take responsibility for that. And you're a much bigger pocket than we are. So that needs to be addressed. If you indemnify us against liability, then you can do whatever you want. They're ready to be stocked with red herring.
Well, I'm not going to be able to answer that. That's something that will be brought up to the board. I think Ashley would be something that administration will take a look at to see.
For legal.
Right, but that should be done before the end of the year. Because our contract as the district, and has been for the last 12 years, is that the district makes the decision on that property. They always have in the last 12 years, because when issues have come up to the county or complaints, it's always take it to the district. And now the county is saying, we don't want you touching it, this is county property. But that's not how that contract was written, and that certainly hasn't been your position in the past. I'm okay with it now. I mean, we got 2 weeks. But by the 31st of December, the county should recognize the concerns about public safety regarding those ponds.
I don't care how much wildlife uses it. When I see danger, deep water, stay out, and there's no fence, that's a liability to someone, and we don't wanna carry that. Because we put them in, and we were responsible for them, you paid for them. We want a clean break, you need to deal with that on a legal matter and say, you know what, thank you so much, we'll take it from here. Does that sound fair?
You want us to take responsibility for your actions and.
No,
No.
no.
I know, but
Let's be
that's what
clear.
you're asking me right now.
Of course I am,
And I'm not
because-
gonna make a comment on it, and I will speak
I
to legal
understand.
counsel on that. So
Yeah, I don't
we're not
care,
gonna have
I don't care how great these ponds are, or what
Okay.
they look like, but they're a liability. When it says danger, that
I
needs
get
to be addressed. And the only reason
We
it's
will
even.
not have an answer at this meeting
Pardon?
for your question. We're not gonna comment on that right now.
Oh, you don't have to do it here, but
Okay.
we need to resolve this by the end of the 31st of December. Is that fair?
That is fair.
All right, perfect. And then, yeah, good luck. Thank you, Commissioner. Unfinished business, Attorney General Assistance. We passed a motion to reach out to the Attorney General for legal services. I got a phone call and I spoke with Attorney General, and in writing, they're willing to review Roy's employment contract to find out what our obligations may or may not be on that. And I will be sending that in. Roy, I sent you an email requesting some information related to board packages. We can deal with that after this meeting, but that's where that stands. As far as raising concerns that we had regarding the management of Cornell Forest, the Attorney General indicated that, you know, they're working with the Department of Natural Resources on that. Of course, you have the letters, and the AG is, I believe, CC'd in on that. So, yeah, after December 31st, if we have any opinion on that, we will address that directly with the DNR, and we most certainly will identify ourselves. Thank you. Accounting firm. We have a meeting on Monday with Schneider, Larch, and Hopala with one of their partners, and it looks like we're going to be able to move forward on having them represent us as far as our accounting, so that we're going to be using that accounting firm. So I'll update it. There's no action needed on that. Next, YouTube premium purchase. We need a credit card to complete. Are we live streaming? There's a, thank you. The district's not live streaming, but we'll continue to archive. There was something that we needed 50 subscribers. We got that, and then they think they added a few more hoops for us to jump. I don't know what the deal is with YouTube, because it seems like everybody can live stream on YouTube, even if they shouldn't. So we look forward to moving ahead of that, and I'll talk with you, Roy, about getting district credit cards so that we can start charging directly to the district instead of you know, having to put things on my personal card and get reimbursed.
Well, yeah, well, we have that now. We have the credit cards.
Yeah, but I don't have it, so I'll just get them from you or get access to
Yeah,
them.
'cause I know Glenn took it down, and so there
Okay.
is a district credit card, so if you know you're gonna buy something, then yeah,
You have it. I gave it to you.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Glenn
that-
took it down, yeah.
We'll meet together. Okay,
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I have it at the office, actually, in the drawer, so you know, just drop it off or whatever, but yeah, you guys
Okay.
can use it.
Thank you.
obviously.
Under old business, option to hire someone to take our meeting minutes. That's you, Glenn.
Yeah, I'd like to table that for
Okay.
further consideration.
Excellent. You must be happy with the
what you're
person
describing.
preparing those?
Yeah, totally.
All right, good. Work fast on that, Glenn, please. I'm the one who takes the minutes now. Changing the meeting time. We had discussed that.
That's my request.
Yeah.
I attend, I'm a board member at KI Sawyer, and I'm there from 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon generally on Wednesdays, the second Wednesday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we can, move this meeting to 3 o'clock, I'll depart my previous meeting a little early.
I think we talked about it, cause I think I actually made a motion that we move it to like 5:30.
You didn't make.
Or
that-
later.
I don't know if you did that.
I thought I did, and it all hinged on you looking to see if this was available.
Right.
I
So
think
we
that's
did?
already
Oh,
been,
I did, yes.
yeah, I
that's
did,
what it
I,
was.
5:30?
5:30.
That's better yet.
Because we had talked about it, because Kelly
You
gave
made
us some
that one,
input
yeah.
on it, would be nice, that would give people that were,
Yep.
employed,
Right.
chance to get here if they wanted to attend the meeting personally. And I agree with it 100%, and it all hinged on whether or not the facility was available at that time.
I'd like to have a little more input on this, so. because I-
Rory, you did say that.
I don't think you guys made a motion, but I know you talked about all that. But I could be wrong too.
But you did tell me that this room is available at this time, but it,
When you start, yeah,
Start.
so when you said 3 o'clock, I said, when this thing got reserved, it was supposed to be 2, and they said you could stay here to 5 or 6. And now if you're gonna go to 5:30, we should check. And do you want me to check, or are you gonna do it, Joe? I
If you
can
don't,
check
if
easily.
you don't mind checking, yeah.
I do have
Same
a-
day, same?
Oh,
just
yeah, I
move?
think same everything.
Additional input though, and should have considered this. We'd like to start inviting the staff to the meetings.
That's right.
And so, I'm not exactly sure how that fits in with their workdays. I know they are all here on Wednesday, but whether they're available is a good question.
The input I got is, not from all, but certainly for some, I mean, this is something that we can
Yeah.
pick up, yeah, that there would be interest in attending if it was after work hours.
I think that's where the
So-
person I went to talk to said too, so.
So is 5, I mean, is
Yeah.
it 5:30 or 6, is there?
I rest my case.
Oh, no, there was no pushback on it, we're just, do you wanna make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we, if the meeting venue is available,
What was that, I'm sorry?
She just asked to drive for the employees, and I said, what I've heard from the employees is that they like it during the day, but I'll also tell you, when I started in the 80s, it was 7 o'clock till whatever, and the employees still all came. Because if they know, Schoolcrafts is at 4, right? Now,
Yes.
then they used to do 9. So in other words, if Lindsay knows it's 4, she goes over later in the day or comes in later or, moves hours around. So I don't really see it a problem as long as they know it's the second this or that, and you don't do a pop special one. And I think you can go all the way till 7 if you like to start.
Would we lose you, Rachel?
At 5:30.
No, so I have lots of boards that meet in the evening. I would say when they're evening meetings, I can't come to everyone.
Okay.
When they're during the day, that's much easier for my schedule. I was mentioning, cause I know several of your staff have a very long commute that I was surprised to hear they would want it so far past their workday. To
Oh.
stick around town until, 5:30, but.
The one that did ask me, it has a long commute,
Okay.
but why can't we consider splitting the difference a little bit at 4, or something?
No, 4 kind of defeats it for the people that are working and would.
yeah, but,
I don't
yeah,
know.
All right.
then you
If
can-
if you do
5.
5:30, I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Okay.
All right, well,
Should we table for
One
just
day
a
a
little
month.
while?
No, I still stand with the motion that we
All right.
look at it as long as the venue is available,
You say at 5:30.
as long as the
Right. I got it.
venue is available.
I got
If
it.
the venue is not available, if we're not able to get in here after 5,
All right.
then we may have to re-look at it.
All right. Is there any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
That motion
just
carries.
clarify the motion. If I
Yeah,
call and
I got
find
it.
out
You know
it's
what?
5:30.
I'll talk to the service center folks about
Okay,
it.
you got it.
I can handle that.
Make sure that it's done.
We'll put
Okay.
Joe does. All right, moving right along. Credit card machine for the district office. We spoke this week about canceling it.
Well, what I'd like to do is Lyle Barrel, it's the company he works for, I don't know what the company is, but we've had it at the park. The only time the district really needs it is tree sale.
And we could pick that up in the spring or late
So
winter.
I was thinking of canceling the credit card machine because I think the county does their own or however they do it, or will do their own. So just have it pulled out, but if you guys are gonna do it, not to spring, because
Right,
usually
winter.
people start, so I would say if you have it by mid-February, then you're in good shape.
Alright.
And I'll have Lyle contact you, Joe, just so he can give you the spiel or.
Is there a monthly charge on that?
No, we pay, that's one of the things they ask, we pay the percentage. Like it's used to be 3.
Yeah,
but
just
anyway.
4% of the
Yeah.
So if we are going to have a need for it in the future, why are we canceling it now?
Because we're leaving the office.
It's
Pine
set
Knot
over
Trail
there to
Park.
its own number.
Okay,
So
we're gonna have to
cancel.
make a different arrangement for a setup for it.
Correct.
Okay,
And that'll be
I
the
understand.
hopefully the new district map.
And you can't just move
Okay.
the number because
Right.
it's, Escanaba versus Gladstone, even though it sits in Gladstone, and it's a real pain in the
Yeah.
butt.
Right.
So
Let's
it'd be
just
easier to
cancel it
cancel
and
it,
then
get a new
we'll
one.
pick it. Yep,
Yeah.
go ahead and cancel
Okay.
it.
Okay,
Move on.
can
Do you need a motion to do that?
No.
You sure? Okay, cancel.
The purchase of the color copier, I recommend tabling this until we have someone that can really look into this, the options between lease.
Okay,
and,
the only
buy.
thing is usually in the month of January, just so, I know, I've been on you guys since July for
Yeah.
this, or August. Over at the NRCS office, you cannot run tree sale, you cannot run district stuff, you cannot run any of that on the copier that's there now, which is the USDA Service Center, there's a couple of them. But you can do like-minded assistance. So it's a landowner you're working with, NRCS has no problems.
Got it.
But usually in January, you do your catalog or you do your output, and you gotta have something, and you won't be able to do it on there. So if you're gonna do it, please do it by, the second, whenever you're gonna have your first meeting in
Well, we could actually,
January.
if push came to shove, you could actually farm that out to one of the print shops. As far as the copy, and it's pretty reasonable, like, say, I know for a fact Johnston printed.
That's fine. 'Cause
Catalog, you can look at that, get a price on that, and that might even be the way to go, because then they do all the footwork. You
Well,
just,
if you ever do, go to the Menominee County Journal, which is in Stevenson, they'll beat them all, that's where we used to.
Okay.
But the only thing is, the employees, we would move the one that's there now, but it's black and white, okay? So they would like color, but also if the district is doing any projects, that they need maps and they need the color, you guys gotta have that.
I got it.
copy.
We
Okay,
got it,
great.
yeah.
All right.
we'll just table that and.
I guess I've
Unless
pushed it
anybody wants
enough.
to take action to buy it.
No.
If you don't do it, you
No, no,
don't
no,
do
no, no,
it.
no, 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 no,
Alright.
no.
No way.
Thank you.
Okay.
You don't get a commission on that, do you?
No, not at all.
No, we just tabled it, no action. County financial obligation to the district.
Okay, so I sort of sent it to you guys last night, but I wanted to go over it because it's not complicated, but it is complicated. Okay. Let's see, get one of these. And in so doing, when I'm handing this out, we need before the end of 31st, if you want me to help, we need a meeting with the Finance Committee, which is Joe and Mike here, I believe, and then also with the two Bobs in the county and Ashley and myself to sit down and figure out what we got cooking. So the one that says Park fiscal year '23, I've already sent that to Ashley. So the fiscal year '23 basically goes from October 1 of '22 to September 30th of '23. So you see there, basically at the end of September, we had 44,000. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Is it 269.21?
Yep.
Okay, in the parks account.
Okay.
Okay, that's what was left over. Normally, there's a carryover. I did not set up a carryover because of December, so you could see exactly where you were, you know what I mean? So you don't have to hop around, or it'd be what it is. So when you see 24 now, on basically the first page, but number 3, I ran a QuickBooks from October 1 through today, okay? So this is how this just sits, and of course, this is gonna come out negative, right? Because we probably paid more than money came in after October 1, the money was before. So if you really wanted to subtract this off the 44, that would be fine. So then the next page, I ran from October 1 of 22 all the way to December 13th of 23. So you get the whole picture. And you'll see that technically by doing that, we got the 42,712.31. Now, this includes, which we just got a check from, the county, for the 32,000 something. That was for the Fuller Park bathhouse, because I see you have that on there too. So we did receive that check, Joe. And, Ashley found a couple things. I was thinking it was 33, but she found a couple that, was moved back over to Pioneer Trail Park, so, nothing there. So, but the 10% has nothing to do with the final here. So I just want you to know, as of today, there's $72,712.31 sitting in the park's checking account in our district. There's also money sitting, which Ashley will have to supply, in an account at the county for camp spots. The whole reservation system, that money went directly to the county. Okay, so if you look at the next page, this is, again, the 10% though is not based till today. It was only based on the fiscal year, correct?
Let's just, for conversation, let's just assume that.
Okay. And the reason was
I think
behind,
you're right, yeah.
behind that, remember the 20-some thousand?
I
or-
do,
Okay.
yep.
So that's why I went back to October 1 of September 30th, and you can see where I have the 10%. In
Okay.
that agreement, I had the county put in there, when we did this thing, or recommended, and it got in, that obviously the district should not get 10% of the 75,000 that they give, 10% of any grants that were written, any timber sales or things like that. So basically, you can see the carryover, I have a circle on it, 111,672. I have a circle around 42,380. So the carryover was that, because we didn't do projects last year.
Right.
Because we knew it was getting ready to go. The 42,380 was the first COVID money, APR money, or whatever it was, and that was for the cabins, the final thing there. And then the 75,000 was the county appropriation.
Okay.
So if you add those three together, you get $229,052, and I apologize because
okay.
it looks like it 20 whatever cents it is.
25 cents.
Okay. Is it?
No, just trying to make it easy.
Well, yeah, the copier didn't, wait a minute, I might actually.
It's okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
Because
only.
we're
a
not gonna
pen.
take action
It's a
there, just,
pen.
this is,
Correct.
yeah.
Okay,
just
yeah,
for us
cause we
to
can't.
digest.
Okay, so then down in the bottom, is also up in the top, you'll see the total income, right, $327.22 and 97 cents.
Yes.
So you take that, right,
Okay,
and you subtract out $229,052.25.
okay,
Everybody following me? Why? Okay, so we end up with $97,970.72, and then I just wrote the word plus.
okay,
We have to know what the camp spot was.
gotcha.
So we get together, I'm guessing Ashley will, supply that, and then you would add the $97,970.72 to that camp spot. And I believe it's over 200,000, but we met a long time ago on it at the end of the fiscal year, so I don't know what it's at now. But basically, it would be the end of the fiscal year, so it's way over 200,000 if I remember. But I might be wrong, but that's my memory. So then, basically, that would detail the 10% that the conservation gets directly,
Gotcha.
okay, for running the park, running the grant, whatever you wanna call it.
The contract.
The contract, everything associated with that. Nothing to do with employees, nothing to do with anything like that. That was the original agreement, and that's why Pat Johnson came up with the 10%. And Pat, myself, and Emily, we discussed it, and that was eventually what was brought to the county board
Yep.
and approved. So if you go to the last page, again, this is what we have, this 42, 7, 12, 31. So if it was today, you would minus, well, you would take the 97 plus the camp spots, figure out what 10% is, and then subtract that from the 42, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then that would be what it is.
Okay.
And so I just kind of threw something together. If Steve does not take any more comp time, any vacation, his payout on December 31st would be 6,000, where am I, is that a 40? I'm sorry. what
Where are we right now? Oh.
Steve is.
Very, on the very, very bottom of,
6092, 45?
yeah,
Six
6,092.
Or 42? I'm not-
45
I
cents.
can't tell.
Oh, I
45
got it,
cents.
thank you.
So if you subtracted what I roughly thought, the county would owe the district $2,000. And then, of course, they'd have all the money in the camp spots. So, I mean, that's if it was done today. So it's an idea, but we have to get together, have that meeting, decide what the camp spots is, then you know what your 10% is, then you can subtract it out.
Right.
Does that make any sense, or? Okay.
Yeah, no,
Good.
appreciate it.
Right, it's ready.
That's why I said I wanted to go over it.
Yeah, no, and I.
Because you can't go to December 31st, because the agreement was just from October 1 of 22 till September 30th of 23,
Gotcha.
fiscal year. And I believe those are the only things that are circled out, because the 32 would have been circled out too, but it has just come. And it's reimbursing the district for what it's already paid out of the park funds.
Got it. Any initial questions? Nope. I'm gonna have some.
Well, kind of,
I'm gonna
because
have 'em here.
when you estimate that the county is gonna owe us $2,000, that's the 10%?
No.
Oh, okay, that's where I'm.
No,
I got it.
we have right now 42,000
Okay.
sitting.
42,712.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, if it was 250 or
They would-
280.
From what we have left over, the $2,000 would be additional that they would owe us, and we could keep the 42,000 that we have. in the-
Correct.
in the
Oh,
account.
no,
Okay,
it would be a subtraction, right? Because you're not gonna give the 10% back.
Or we owe the county 2,000.
No, the county would owe the district.
Well, then you would add it to, it would be 44.
Yeah, but not to the 10%.
No, that would be,
what-
right, that would be,
Okay,
that
I
would
just
be
wanna make
the
sure.
total after the 10%. I understand that.
Yeah.
There's a couple questions I have.
Okay,
We had I think I don't know if I discussed with you or with Ashley about this camp spot, setting up camp spot. The district paid to do that, the labor for that, I think Holly,
correct.
okay.
So to me, that is an employee, just like any other employee, seasonal or whatever, that did work. So that was direct labor out of the parks, and we've already paid that. So it's not part of the 10%.
Well, it's extra work, no, extra
Right.
work.
Right.
Right, it's not part of
So
the 10%.
did that work get reimbursed by the county?
We've already taken it out, Joe.
Oh, I see.
It was
So-
already billed through the park, and, no, we didn't bill it to the county.
No, Ashley, didn't we talk, you weren't gonna cover that expense?
No, I don't want to cover that expense.
What?
The county's position, my position
Yeah.
is no,
Because,
because it's under administrative operational cost.
but it's not, but that is a service that you're gonna use into the future, so if we would've,
But your administration did that. Our contract was for.
that's not
she's a
administrative,
conservation
right.
district
Correct.
employee, not a parks employee.
Yeah, I don't see
If-
that
if
as
it-
administration, I see
No,
that as.
no, because if it was, here would be the deal. Why would a conservation district ever take a grant? When you guys hire employees, you have the total liability on them employees. You're paying the taxes, you're paying even district share, you're paying all this stuff. So in other words, if that would've happened from day one, what would have been was, and that's when I discussed this, cause me and Emily kinda went back and forth, and Pat got it and brought it to the board, cause I said, technically then, for 13 years, the conservation the county came to us, conservation district would've stood up, said, yep, we're gonna run your parks for you, and it ain't gonna cost you a damn thing, we're not gonna get anything, we're taking all the liability. Who would ever do that? We never, even MDA, through their grants, you've seen them, at least Mike has for sure.
But my question is, you know, I can table that one, but if that was extra work, that's not administrative work.
No.
That's a professional service.
Correct.
So how did Holly get paid on that? Because she's a 2008.
Because she did it on off hours, nothing to do with her grant. She assisted with hours
At what rate?
above and beyond, at her current rate. How much an hour? So she put in, I have it I have her hours, when they were done, the whole bloomin' shop.
Another question I have on all these computer purchases that haven't been implemented.
Those aren't part. Oh wait, the two are.
But who paid for those? The
We
district did.
no, yeah, but out of park money.
Right, but that shouldn't, but that contract is for this fiscal year, that's for future equipment to be used by the parks. That shouldn't be part of taking, so what happens if the district, you know, the park money in there, they would've bought a new tractor? We're gonna buy a new tractor and spend $250,000. That's
Well-
gonna reduce the amount of revenue that the parks are showing this year.
No, we did that, I'd have to look back. We did that, yeah, but you're talking the 10%, are we talking 10%?
Well, yeah, we're talking
It has nothing to do
10%
with
of-
expenses, zero.
It's all revenue, but it does have something to do with expenses, no?
No. If our expenses weren't 42, let's say they were 20,
Oh, I
you
see.
see
So we're
what I'm
just
saying?
spending
They
down
would
this-
owe us more.
So we're,
Spending down the.
so we don't really know what the revenue is yet.
Correct.
And when do we find that out?
When we get together and we get the camp spot. Then we have to add it to the 97,000.
Was camp spot all done?
Yeah,
Should be done, yeah.
So do you have that figure?
Mhm.
Do you know what that figure is?
Mhm.
What is it?
It is, Fuller Park was $105,155, and Pioneer Trail Park was $220,220, which is a total of $325,375, which 10% of the total of the 97, I came up with the same figures you did.
okay, good.
$97,970.72, which was what you had just stated. So a total of $423,000, $345.72. 10% of that is $42,334.57 is my numbers. And
Okay.
it doesn't have a title that it came from Camp Spot, I don't know why
No, no,
I don't like
that's
that,
fine.
but.
So it's a little higher than I thought. Remember I told you guys I
Yeah.
was guessing 40?
Okay.
You were right on with, I was nodding along with you, I was like, yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah, excellent, good work.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Cool, thanks.
But we should have the meeting, right? Because
Definitely.
they
Yeah,
have
and
to, doesn't the
right.
finance committee have to move it to the full board?
Yes.
But I'd like to look this over and then maybe
Oh,
we
sure.
can, perfect,
Yeah.
before we have a meeting.
Yeah, I'd like to make sure you guys I think Mike's got it, but I'd like to make sure you guys know 100% what it is.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Right.
Thank
Cause I tell you, I spent like 3.5 hours on it, I shouldn't have, but I kept looking at it and going, wait, that ain't right, and then I did it.
All right.
Cause it's only the fiscal year, and it's only based on revenue.
Okay. Cool.
Along this whole line, are you gonna get with Ashley to get a time to meet?
It doesn't matter to me who does it.
We'll meet with him first and then we
Okay,
can
let's
set
do
that
that,
up.
okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Reimbursement for OB Fuller Bathhouse?
Done, right, I
Done.
talked about, done.
Sign MOU with Schoolcraft County.
Done, cause you approved it last time, I just
Yep.
wanted to make sure it got signed, so you
Signed
signed it,
this
I
week.
think, the other day, Joe.
Upcoming reporting for taxes in MDR. This is based on what Rachel provided. So what is our strategy for doing that? Do we need to meet and how we?
Well, I'm guessing the strategy is, which I've been working on a little bit, but I'm really gonna work on it here in the last couple days, is Glenn asked me to put together I don't know, what do we call it? You call it something different on here, where you got it, it's just.
Yeah, it's the next one.
Succession
Yeah, yeah,
checklist, okay?
perfect.
To a new manager, so, or to you guys, that this is when you need to do this is when you need to do this is when you need, or the way we've done it in the past. But certain things need to be done, like paying the taxes,
Right.
applying for the grants. And just so you know, if something happens and you don't get, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you don't get your grant information in by January 7th, you don't lose the money, they just hold it till you get it in. The only time you would lose it would be October 5th.
And it's not lost, it's just stalled for a very long time.
So nothing's where you would lose the money.
So I think what our strategy be, we'll plan, I guess, well, it could either be personnel, finance, I don't know.
Well, I know Glenn has
Well,
a big
that's
interest in this, and
Sure,
not
that's the
only in
succession planning.
finances, so.
But for reporting taxes and MDR, that's probably, you wanna do that under finance?
Well, then I gotta meet with two of you, or is it, I don't,
Yeah.
and another two? I
Yeah.
guess I don't care.
Yeah.
I was trying to get into one
I'm
meeting.
okay with that. No, we should split it up.
Okay.
Finance.
However you
That's
guys
all
like.
spent. Okay, so we'll do that finance for K, and then L, the succession checklist for district manager, that sounds like it's solidly
Personnel?
under personnel.
Okay.
We can do that, how's that sound, Glenn? I've got some things.
Yep.
But this may be confounded a bit with your request here. This is from last night about
Yep.
vacation.
Yep.
So you want, you're planning on taking a 2-week vacation starting on Monday the 18th.
Yeah, we have two holidays in there, yeah, if
Right.
it's okay.
But
with
that
no
means
concern.
you're
But-
done, that means you are done on Friday.
No, that does not mean that. That's why if you look down farther, I would like to do that so I can spend time with the family.
I understand.
But if I can't get all this done by Friday, which I can't, plus there's a payroll coming up, I don't remember what day it is, number 7.
Right.
I'm gonna do it like I did at hunting season, you know, Glenn requested come down and I did the same thing with Mike for the payroll. I'll come in, and I know you don't want me to volunteer time on vacation, but I'll come in, and those won't be vacation hours then, I'll just work them. Or if you need me, you give me a call, we set something up.
We need to firmly establish, we've talked about this before, what is vacation and work days.
Correct.
So before Friday,
Okay,
you're not gonna work during the, if you're gonna take a 2-week vacation, then we're done on Friday.
well, some things have to be done, so.
I understand, but you
Okay.
can't kinda pick and choose, I understand, but under Fair Labor Standards Act or whatever, we need, what you have entitled to is vacation.
Yep.
What you have entitled to is workday, we need to know what that's gonna be. So if it's a 2-week vacation.
Well, no, I'm not gonna do that, cause I
Okay,
feel
so,
I have an obligation
so then you
to the
can't have all,
district.
then you're not going on a 2-week vacation.
Okay.
So we need to
Can I
determine.
pick what days I might be on vacation that fit or not, or what do you want me to do?
That would make sense.
That would make a lot more sense
Okay.
than saying that.
Well,
you
that's
wanna-
why I sent you the letter showing you.
Okay.
Approximately 2 weeks
Yeah, that I
vacation.
have 18
Well, it
days
won't
of
be-
vacation,
Yeah,
and
but you're not gonna be able to get them all in unless you
Right.
start on
unless I
Friday.
leave, but I don't wanna do that.
Okay, so then we're gonna have to,
Okay.
map out your schedule with district holidays.
When
and
do
how
you
many-
wanna, well, district holidays are going, as long as you bring that up too, we'll do that in a minute, but the staff really wants to know, cause you guys never made a decision, I don't think at the last one, whether they can do a Friday or a Monday, so they asked me to ask today. But the two holidays that I would take would be Monday and Tuesday, right?
Well,
Christmas Eve and, Christmas, for sure.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm only dealing with the other 8 days.
you threw me off a little bit, cause you started talking about what didn't we resolved that we're gonna follow. I don't know if we did it here.
I don't think we did,
government.
that's why I'm asking.
Oh, that's in our personnel policy. Well, we're not changing anything until first of the year. But we
Okay,
talked about in our
okay.
personnel policy, we're gonna review that, that's part of the review.
Okay, so I believe in there, then it says if it's a Sunday, it goes to Monday, if it's a Saturday, it goes to Friday, correct?
I believe it.
So we need to map out, and we will do this, we should do this, tomorrow or the next day. So we can map
Yep.
out your vacation days.
Yep.
And your work days.
Correct, and the succession checklist, to make sure, and
Yes,
I'd like to
yes.
go over that with you guys first, then I know exactly what you want me to do, then I can tell you roughly how much it's gonna take.
All right, so That works for me.
Okay,
But we're
but
gonna-
since I'm an exempt employee too, and let's say I have a work day and it's just, let's pick a Tuesday. If I come in at 8, I can work till midnight, correct? Because I only get paid for 8 hours anyway. Right? Not a vacation day.
Rachel, please express, please say what you're looking,
I'm not an expert on the exempt employment, so I can't weigh in.
I can't weigh in either. To be, I have no idea.
There's very few districts that work with exemptions and salaried employees, and you're one of them. It's not something I'm used to.
I guess what I'm telling you, let's say you give me a week, 40 hours, and I'm actually working. I can work more than 40 hours without any type of financial liability to this district, or extra. So,
Okay.
once we talk about the succession, I'll be able to have a better idea how long it might take. Does that make any sense?
What's gonna take what? The succession process?
No, not the process, to figure out what do you want me to do before I leave, correct?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're meeting about?
Yeah,
We're gonna,
Okay,
we're gonna,
right.
we're gonna
But
resolve it in a meeting.
Yes.
Right, right.
Okay.
But it conflicts a little bit with, your request for vacation time.
So, can you guys either make a motion that I'm going to meet with personnel on that?
We don't have to make a motion, we just
Okay.
need to,
Okay, so, but
no, we don't
obviously.
need a motion for your vacation, you know,
Okay,
we just, it just can't be like, oh, I'll come in and work on my vacation day. We're not,
Okay.
we've mentioned that a million times.
okay,
Like,
well,
if
set
you're gonna-
vacation, and then,
So if you wanna map out the next 2 weeks,
I wanna do that with you guys after I meet with you,
That's fine.
right? Cause if you give me,
Sure.
if you give me a laundry list of what you want me to do, I don't know what that is yet. We're gonna talk about, I have a rough idea, but I wanna know from you guys too.
fair enough, so we should probably
Does
meet.
that make any sense?
Yeah, we will talk after the meeting.
After the meeting,
So you just want to table this for now?
please.
I get, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, there's no use tabling it either, just,
That's
We'll just take no action on it.
correct.
It's just notification.
Because your next meeting's in January, so.
Yeah, so. we-
Table it, don't do much
Our
good.
succession, yeah, so we didn't realize you were going on, you wanted
We
vacation.
didn't realize that.
So.
Well, Christmas, everybody else is
Well,
bailing
you
for
said
2
Well,
two
you
weeks.
get those,
weeks.
yeah,
You said 2
you
weeks.
get those everyone gets those, so.
Right.
When I
we
saw the
just-
thing, it said 2 weeks, I said, well, that
We just-
throws that out of the.
No,
window.
no.
We need
I had committed to you guys like
We
I always
need-
do in the
well,
district, so.
Yeah, it's just committing to your
Yeah.
work contract, not,
Correct.
yeah.
Okay, yep,
same thing.
no
All right.
problem.
When you guys update your personnel policy, you might wanna consider, instead of
Oh.
having a holiday on a weekend mandatory go to the following Monday or Tuesday or however that works, you should just stick to the federal holiday schedule,
That's what we talked about.
which is a
Mhm.
Friday for New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve.
That's what we talked about. I think we're gonna go to just federal for everyone.
Yeah.
And
The office
also,
is closed.
just for FYI, we also discussed like early release at the federal building, and we're gonna adopt that too. So our vacation or holiday is going to reflect the federal, and that's the,
It's much simpler.
It is simpler.
then everyone's on the same page.
Just so you guys know, though, you may have to pull holidays in, right? Cause I believe we get more
Mm-hmm.
at present than the feds.
Oh, I
So
understand.
Just keeping that in mind when you do it.
Yeah, but I think we're just gonna have to go with that, and hopefully the early release works everything out. So we will discuss about getting together for that successor checklist. Anything else? All right. Ready for new business? Let's go through this. Payment of bills.
Okay, so I went over the bills with Mike last Thursday or Friday.
And me as well.
No, but not last Thursday, Monday, wasn't it? I think
That
Monday.
was Friday and Monday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have the list, but remember there was gonna be four that you guys,
It's for Glenn's.
okay, yeah, I didn't have that one.
Right.
But there was 4 that, were there. I only ran 2, cause you guys tentatively approved it. The BP
Yep.
and Michaela's going down to the,
Correct. Yep.
convention. I did not do the UPCO
Okay.
because I believe we've already done it. So I
Okay,
gotta get
right.
in there, check, and
I
then.
remember. I
Well-
forwarded this to the board, so the board has
Okay,
this
and I did not
today. I
do,
did late.
I did not do the Verizon, cause I think we're in the same
Okay.
boat.
Is there any?
So in your motion to do it, we can sign them afterwards, can you guys, though, include Glenn's, and then it would be done?
How much is that?
Glenn's, cost for going downstate, you got all the rooms on here, eh?
Yeah.
That's for everyone.
Okay, oh no, so we already paid all the rooms. Wait, no, we didn't.
Wait a minute
No, we
now.
didn't, you're right.
Okay.
We paid the convention fee,
So close.
okay?
Yeah, that'd been good.
But you charged this to the credit card.
That's correct.
Okay, so did you charge these to the district credit card?
Yeah.
Oh, then we don't write a check to Glenn.
No.
It's just
Okay,
payment.
well,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. The other ones wrote on their own credit cards. Okay, we
got it
hadn't
back,
talked,
all
we
right.
went down, I didn't know.
So that's just an invoice.
So that's just,
Yeah, that's all
that
right.
will
To
just
be
be
filed.
filed, correct. Well, and also taken off when
Right.
credit card statements.
We reviewed all the bills. Any questions?
You want me to go over them?
No.
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 Okay.
No, but I will have credit card bill from me for the new storage unit,
I think you told
for
me.
the deposit,
Personal credit card.
personal, yeah. And then,
That's just reimbursement,
and I've
right?
just, yeah, I just reimbursed for a bunch of keys I made.
So can that be done on the next?
He set
Yes.
it up, we paid
No,
for it
no
with
worries.
credit card.
I know, but he
Okay.
needs to get reimbursed because
Right.
they're not gonna credit that card.
Right.
So you remember the motion we made, that we're gonna have this 4 days before, it's okay, I'm just saying, in the future,
We're
it'll be 4
attempting to
days.
do that,
So
yes.
that when we say we're ready to pay the bills, we can say, oh yeah, everybody looked at them, everything's cool. Thanks for meeting with us earlier in the
Yep.
week.
Yeah, that
So,
would.
it worked for us. Do you guys have anything to add? Did I get 'em?
Just one quick thing.
Please.
I'm in the process now of kinda working with Ashley, because it's gonna be a piece of cake later, because if you guys go to direct deposits for
Yeah.
payroll, they're gonna have 2 bills a month, that's it.
Right.
Wi-Fi and telephone, cause the office is free, the heat's free, so that's all you're gonna have, so there won't be a big thing. But we're trying to get everything with the park turned over, so I went to Northgate, and instead of having one now, the district, so when you guys ever go in, anything for the tractor, the district has an account at Northgate, the district.
Which
It's
is
bi-
separate
It's
from-
billed to 2003 Minneapolis. The park has one, cause they'll probably be going back there for things, with lawnmowers and that. That one is billed now to the county. I brought Ashley the Menards, did you see that there? That one has been mostly parks, and I think it's set up mostly for parks. If the district ever did anything in there, and it came, we took it out, paid it out of the district and the parks. Do you guys, cause I can go set one back up, or you can do it later.
Doesn't this sound like succession planning?
Okay, all right, so.
Is that true? I mean,
Yes, but basically, that's one of the things though, that has to be on that succession plan. Try to get everything done by the 31st.
I hope you're keeping a list of these things as well.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
I know everybody that we charge to and everything.
Beautiful. All right. Should we pay the bills?
Please.
Let's pay the bills.
We ready to pay bills?
Beyond ready.
I would entertain a motion from the board.
So move.
Oh, Treasurer Sigorsky, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Glenn Bandywater, second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. FOIA. So our current situation is, Holly is the assistant coordinator and you're the FOIA coordinator for the district.
Do I have to say yes?
You don't have to say yes.
Yes.
So, Holly's not interested in continuing that. Clearly, you don't wanna do it either.
I don't wanna do it after I
So-
leave, no.
So this is not something we can wait for a new manager. So I talked with Rory and he suggested, he volunteered me.
Yeah.
And I fulfilled 2 this week.
I'm happy for you.
And
Joe, did you record that? Because I believe you volunteered, I might have suggested, and then you volunteered Glenn as the.
oh, I considered the assistant, but you know
As
what?
the- as the backup.
You know what? I don't think we're gonna need a backup.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is the
You don't
problem.
have to have a backup.
That we just ran into, right?
Yeah.
somebody requested a FOIA and I was on vacation.
I got it, right.
So you guys should have some kind of backup that will automatically take over. I know if Rachel goes, her
Well-
phone says contact da-da-da-da-da.
I would say your manager will be your FOIA
Yeah.
coordinator,
Yeah.
Joe will be the backup.
100%.
So it's more of an interim thing.
Yeah.
So you can't go anywhere till you get a manager, correct?
I'll be, yeah.
Okay, sounds
I
good.
can work remote too.
All right.
So,
So I'll make a motion that Joe Kaplan is the FOIA coordinator or manager.
FOIA coordinator.
For FOIA coordinator.
Yeah, I'll second that.
From this minute on?
From this, from yesterday on. Is there any more discussion on that?
Nope.
Let's roll call that one.
Joe,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Nate.
Yes.
Great, so, yeah, like I said, we've had 2 FOIAs received. I'm familiar with FOIA, so I look forward to executing those duties along with.
That's why I had it put
records.
on here, cause if you guys remember, Ashley read something at the county board meeting that the county should make me do a FOIA when I was on vacation, so I just wanted it solved.
Yeah, it's solved, so I'm the FOIA and I have access to our district FOIA, which is posted on our website. So, moving right along.
And thank you for doing those two.
Yeah, you bet. Policy on public attending of committee meetings, this came up with a personnel committee meeting that, Tina attended, and according to Tina and Rory, you know, at some point we discussed this in comments, but it wasn't captured in the moment, so in a motion, so we need to discuss what is our policy on allowing public attendance at committee meetings. We're not obligated to do this under Open Meetings Act.
And it happened 3 times, so the people who asked me to reply to them, I do, and then we get there and, you know, so I would really appreciate if you guys would do that, but maybe for your new manager too, in the future, you guys set that policy. So finance committee meeting,
Well, this would
anything.
be, yeah, this would be more of a, like a board, this is a legitimate board.
Mhm.
I mean, personally, I would leave it at the discretion of the committee members,
Right.
who are gonna know what's being discussed and whether or not you want to.
There's no actions being taken, it's just.
There's no action being
just
taken, but
conversation
it's a,
trying
you
to
know,
figure out
it's a
what-
conversation, but it's still, it's,
But,
you know, it's still a
yes.
meeting.
And, then it's up to the discretion of the, committee.
Are you guys, you're under the same FOIA, I'm guessing, as the county in that. So I know the county, when they have their committee meetings, right, finance and all that, that the public's welcome, so.
That's not FOIA though.
Okay,
That would be their.
well, Open Meetings Act, excuse me, not FOIA,
Right,
I
but,
apologize.
But, Open Meetings Act only requires when there's a quorum of the board,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Any thoughts on this, Rachel?
Your call.
All right.
Everybody's looking at me.
We're waiting on your time.
Do they want a motion, or?
I would move it that we, up to the discretion.
I don't see any reason why they can't be open, you know, unless it would be, you know, what would we be discussing that,
Well, if you're meeting with an employee, do you want to have that open?
There can
well,
be.
that would fall in like in personnel and.
That is personnel.
It is
Right,
personnel.
Are you just saying for personnel or any?
No, we're saying about any committee meeting.
Committee meeting.
So let's say as a committee, we're gonna go meet on Monday with, an accountant. Is that a public meeting?
Oh, no, yeah, I agree there.
Right.
So we have a motion, it's at the discretion of the committee members.
I'll second it.
Second it?
Yeah.
Any other discussion on this?
Nope.
All right, the motion from Mike, seconded by Glenn, is, public participation in any of our committees is up to the discretion of the committee members.
Committee board members.
Yeah, two, Yeah.
In case,
Yeah,
cause you
thank
guys may have some that you would like to.
Correct.
Okay.
So basically invitation only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. D, jointly owned trailer with Matson and County. I know we had talked about it. This kind of falls similar to, shared computers. We gotta figure this out, but the district owns a trailer with you and the
In the
county. So, it's hard to split a trailer up 3 ways. Cause it's,
Who is the trailer actually technically registered in? What's the registration say?
I believe the,
oh, good
what am I
question.
gonna say,
The
the
licensing.
title transfer. It was never actually titled, or done, but the title transfer is there from the old owner that lists myself and the conservation district.
No,
But that doesn't relieve, that they still have a share.
does it carry the permanent trailer license from the?
Yeah, who's it licensed in? It's gotta be licensed in somebody.
Okay, so the way it was used before was basically when we purchased it.
Not how it, let me stop you there, not how it was used.
Yep,
How is it licensed?
basically.
Who is on the license? the
Basically,
title for
there
the
was
license?
a municipal plate put on it. But when I used it a couple years ago, I brought it to the camp and brought the municipal plate back. And I don't, so I only use it up
Okay,
at
so
my camp.
how is it plated now, or there is no plate on it?
There's no plate on it, cause I took the plate off, but the municipal plate, you guys put on it. I went down to Secretary of State and chatted with all this, so the guy gave me 4 municipal plates.
Right, exactly, but what I'm saying is when you used it and took the municipal plate off of it, and you put a plate on it,
I didn't put a plate on it, cause it
so you
wasn't
just use
correct.
it, so it has been being used with no plate on it.
On private property,
How would it get to the
yeah.
park?
Well, it was in the
Except
park.
for that.
When we bought it, it was in the park.
No,
for the
I'm saying
majority
it
of the
didn't come
years.
from the park, it's in the park now, it came from somewhere else.
Correct. When Mike asked me to bring it down, I went up and got it.
So it has no plate on it.
Where was it?
In
It
our
was up in my
camp.
Oh, okay.
So
Only-
that's what I'm just saying, there's gotta be a title for it, whose name's on the title?
There's, I don't think.
Title or
I don't
registration?
think the district ever applied for the title, or the county, or myself.
So it's probably in the original person that you bought the trailer from.
But we have what do they call when you sign them off? We have that. So
Right.
It's been signed off in
Right,
2016.
right, but it's still, I mean, if push come to shove,
Yeah,
the
that
trailer's
covers it.
still the guy you bought it
Correct.
from. I got a boat that I bought 2 years ago that comes up for registration, that's still the guy that I bought it from.
Well, that's.
Until I have to renew it.
That's
so
why not only.
That's what you're telling me.
That's why we need to solve this, not only get it separated.
Yeah, cause then you're gonna have to,
Right.
And how do
Except
we
for the
wanna do,
legal.
how do we wanna do this sort of thing?
how does this proceed?
I asked Bob Barron, being our liaison for the district, to put it on the county agenda next Tuesday.
Okay.
And I'm willing to purchase the truck. But somebody's gotta purchase it, right? We need to
Yeah.
get it to one owner.
I don't know.
What do you
Depends on-
suggest as purchase price?
Depends on what
Market value divided 3 ways?
Well, we bought it used, in the parks and forests used it the most. Then the conservation district on the road that you guys have there, because if it came down to it, it's to the conservation district. So it isn't that you guys can just loan it out or anything, I wouldn't think, to anybody that you want.
Especially if it doesn't have a
Right.
clean registration.
So I'm willing,
You have the registration for it.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
previous owner.
I just wanna see the we
Yes.
just need the registration.
Yes.
Alright.
so we bought it for 6,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. I'm willing to give 4,000, and that's to buy it out, and that's exactly what was sorta
Okay.
the arrangement before, cause I, believe it or not, whether you believe me or not, I have an additional $2,000 into it, because I figured if I ended up, because when we purchased it, and that still does not work. The battery goes in, and, you hook onto it, but once you plug it into the truck, it should charge that battery all the time. That never has worked.
So,
And then the big cylinder that lifted it, I got Frank Nelson to work on that for 2,000 to make it work.
So moving on, are we gonna table this for right now?
Oh, yeah.
Can we
Yeah, we
be
have to.
forever,
Oh, yeah, I
we'll
mean-
table it and,
I mean, I wanna know what,
We gotta listen
What's
to what
interesting?
county's got.
actually, do you have an inventory
Or
for the parks? What,
I guess I don't, what kind of inventory you want, like a technology inventory? or-
everything that's associated
We
with
have
the
several
parks?
inventory lists.
Okay, cause I've asked for them, can you forward those to me, your inventories? Of
Sure.
what park property
And I
is?
bet requested for the conservation
We
districts also.
we don't have one,
Okay. Alright.
right? We don't have an inventory.
No,
per se.
every year, what is it, August or September, Tracy sends out,
Yep.
and, myself or Steve have added to it every year.
Right, so as far as I know, almost all, district property is out of the park.
no,
Yep.
all district property.
Well, no, there's,
Well,
there's a
30%
few
of
things
the
down in
trailer.
the basement, like some
Oh,
cedar
well,
posts.
Oh.
But you're,
Boxes of
Yeah.
physical equipment or inventory that is usable,
What about
Is out of the
what
park.
about the chimney or whatever?
gone,
Okay.
done, everything's done.
I was heard- I just heard it was
Everything that
still-
the district owns, or the district owns, except for those boxes of crap in the basement, is gone
And the trailer.
and the trailer.
in the trailer. Oh, and our third of the trailer, but that, we were bringing that
right,
back
we
because
brought
that's
that
county.
back.
We
So as
brought
far
that back.
As we know, we've returned everything, and we've taken
Or
everything
removed
out.
everything.
Okay.
But we need an inventory.
Okay.
So if you can send us your inventory, we can check it against ours.
Yeah.
And as far as
You don't
tools
have an
and
inventory.
kayaks
All
and
parks.
all that, we're
All
going on, this
stuff.
is all
That's-
park stuff.
That's park stuff, we have nothing in there, all of our stuff has been, as of yesterday, have been removed. We're,
With, yeah, there's maybe one other thing, and that's a cabin that the district originally purchased. We talked about this, and you said that the county had reimbursed the district
Did
back.
you find that, Ashley?
I can look for it.
Okay, and I'll look, but I'm almost
So
positive.
that's a possible
Yeah,
caveat.
I'm
But I-
positive.
I do have a letter
As best I
saying
can,
that
that.
the county owns 11 trailers, cause I requested that prior to, the county.
Owns 11 trailers?
Or, cabins,
Cabins.
sorry.
There's
We're
6
talking
in
about
Fuller.
trailers a minute ago,
Who's the
sorry.
letter from?
I can't remember who signed it, but before I relinquished the funds for the reimbursement.
Right.
That was the.
Because I
remember
was paying for.
Talking about this.
Yep, because I was paying for, all the items in all the 11 trailers at that time, and if it
Trail-
was. or
cabins.
Cabins, 11 cabins at the time, and I wanted to make sure that we owned 11 cabins.
Okay, but
It's like that.
but there should be paperwork, receipts.
Right, I
you
just
put- all right.
I didn't go through the general ledger to verify.
What's the best way to communicate with you on all these questions that come up?
You can contact me, email me, and we can go back and forth.
Okay, perfect. I think that's, and then the district computers, from Chris's technology report.
And she did, I took a copy of it, I already sent it over to Brandon.
Is there anything else that's owned,
Not that I know of,
together?
not together.
Okay.
We're trying to be clean, right?
We were just trying to save money all the way around.
I understand, that,
Well, I can
that's
see-
fine,
I can
that's
see you
fine.
don't do that with 2 governmental units that can change boards.
You know what, and that's fine,
That happens.
just wanna, so as far as you can tell, we didn't, everything that's owned by the park is in, everything that's owned by the county is in the park.
That's correct.
And everything that's owned by the district,
Is
except
out.
except for the stuff in the basement or.
And it's minor.
Okay, so all the stuff in the shop,
That's all county.
that's
all
all
county.
county. Excellent.
Nate and we went through
Yep.
pretty much
I even got my
everything.
hammer back.
Fantastic.
Long
Okay.
story, we won't get into that.
Getting close,
Put it in
Cornell
the memo.
Forest Property, DNR letter, I mean, we've made our feelings pretty clear on this. I think we can, work on expressing that directly to the DNR ourselves.
I might, if I can point out that the district had made arrangements to modify those ponds until we were booted out.
We weren't booted, they just
I mean,
passed that motion.
As to,
Yeah, and, and again, I'll just reiterate for everyone's sake, our concern about those ponds is, we don't, to
It's well founded.
We put them in, but I never heard any discussion about them from the county side or the district side. And we are concerned about the liability, because they are a human safety issue, otherwise danger signs wouldn't have to be posted.
On record, there is no site plan, no plan ahead of construction of them, am I correct? There's nowhere that's on file anywhere, that there's actually a plan for those ponds, that somebody designed them, planned them?
Everything that was done on the forest was run through county board.
Okay, but what I'm saying,
and
that's not what I'm
UP
saying.
Whitetails during the grant.
Okay,
Do you have
so,
those grants?
do you have the plan where somebody said, this is the pond we plan on putting here? There was never a plan on the construction plan for that pond, right?
No, there was never engineered.
Eddie Burnett
or anything
basically
like
just
that.
went
But
in
was
there
there
and
a grant that
you
covered
told
the
him what you wanted
construction?
done, and he dug for that, right?
Twice.
Just so we're clear, cause we're getting, the pushback you're getting from some of the vocalization of the commissioners that are going out to the public with, are that this was all, it was all planned out and.
Oh, yeah, that we're gonna be filling wetlands.
Yeah, and that this was a wetland, if we fill that pond back in, you'd be filling a wetland back in?
Was any permits pulled for that?
Because they weren't, the road was not the wetland.
Right,
On both
okay.
sides.
So if you fill the pond back in, that's not a wetland either. But that's what,
You
that's
would
what Moyle and
count-
Peterson are
well,
saying.
really?
You need to-
I
you
don't
need to-
listen to when they get on the radio.
You need to
But-
choose sides here on this
But
issue.
if you connect, by state law, that would be something that eventually, if the county went to fill them in, or you guys, you would wanna check. Because there's wetlands on both sides and now they're touching. Would that then become a
Well, they're not
unit?
touching.
Well, if they're touching wetlands now, then you should have had a permit to
Yeah.
to
Started,
excavate them.
Yeah.
Didn't dig into wetlands at all.
Okay, well then filling them in
Then-
wouldn't be into wetlands either.
Then fill them in, you wouldn't be,
Is that true?
all you'd have to do is pump them out to where they were pumped out dry, which wouldn't take much,
For the record, Rory,
and fill them in.
if we were to fill in those wetlands, would we have been in violation of Army Corps of Engineers or?
Well, it wouldn't be Army
DNR?
Corps anyway.
Well,
It'd be
I'm
Eagle.
just hearing Dave Moyle talking.
Sorry.
So could we have filled them in without having to get a soil
Well,
erosion
if-
permit?
If I would still be there and I was gonna be part of it, I would check with Eagle just to make sure that there's no violation been filmed.
Did you check with Eagle before you dug them?
Didn't have to, cause it was upland.
It's still a.
So if you dig out pits and they fill with water, they become wetlands?
No. You are allowed by
Okay.
state law
Yeah,
or federal law, let's say this is the wetland. You can come up to it
Yeah.
and then dig this way, okay?
Okay.
Basically, as long as you don't dig in the wetland.
so did you dig in the wetland?
No.
Okay, so would we need a permit to fill the
Well,
pond?
this has come up numerous times with DEQ before they were Eagle, that other landowners have went in and created a wetland from an upland, adjacent to a wetland. And then a few years later, went back in to deepen it or to fill it in, and it has been an issue.
I got the floor. Cause Bob Peterson on the radio said, he dug, I'm telling you what he said.
All right,
I'm not saying these are your words, these are Bob Peterson's words. Bob said that those things are dug into groundwater. And if we were to fill them in, both he and Moyle contended, we'd be in trouble. So my question is, if we were to go forward and
Well-
address the issue while we were under contract, would we have been violating any state laws regarding wetlands?
I can't answer that. I would've asked for a ruling from Eagle to make sure, because you go fill them in, and then somebody says, well, hey.
As far as your expertise, do you think we would have needed a permit to fill those in?
Depending on what Eagle would say.
No.
Sometimes it's yes,
Your
sometimes it's
ex-
no.
You as an expert,
I do not issue wetland permits.
I know, but you have an opinion on whether or not something qualifies as a
Yep, all I
wetland.
can tell you, it was dug in an upland. They both were
Okay,
dug in
so
an
if we
upland.
were to fill it in, do you think we would be violating the State Wetland Act? That's a yes or a no?
It isn't, because I've seen DEQ make a determination
I'm
on
asking
site.
under your expertise.
Let's move on, we're not getting
No, no, no,
anywhere
no,
here.
no, I'm
Yeah,
stuck.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
you
Let's
can't get a
through
yes or
this.
no
But
from me.
you've done that before while you're working for the district. You've gone and been an expert witness
Mhm.
against the AG,
But again.
and we paid for
But
it.
again, those were site-specific,
Well,
and
this
that's
is
what they are.
site-specific.
Correct.
So, would you say there's a wetland there if we filled it in?
Well,
And AG came and
when
took
the
us to court?
district got in court, obviously,
What would you say,
the
yes or no?
DEQ said they were
All
wetlands,
right,
and then
okay.
we proved they weren't. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, those are the lawsuits.
I
Fine.
understand, but if we hired you to defend us against the DEQ, would you say those were wetlands or not wetlands after we filled them in?
If you do things adjacent,
I'm asking those, in that specific situation, you can't answer that question, can you? It's an easy question.
no, it isn't an easy question.
okay.
You ever deal with the DEQ on these things?
No, I'm
It's
dealing
not an
with-
easy question.
I'm dealing with you on this, because you dug the things,
I know, but
and
only
they're
dug 'em-
accusing us
only
of,
dug them on the uplands.
and they're,
I have one question to ask, and this has bothered me through this whole process of these two holes. You're going to put a wildlife pond in, plain and simple, that's fine. Why did there have to be two of them that close together? Why was there not just one pond done and put a little more effort into it and moved on? Why did there need to be two of them within 50 yards of each other or less?
Because the one to the west, okay, I was 100% sure that the one to the east was gonna turn out fine. And that's the better pond, right?
No.
Okay, you don't think it's better, okay.
No, cause
In my
that's the one,
opinion, it is.
the one to the east, the closest one to the road area is the one that has the deepest sides, that looks bad. And the thing about
No,
it
that
is,
would be the one to the
This
west,
is the west side.
yes, by far.
the west.
The further
end
one in.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm in the wrong way, yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Right,
so,
right. I
the
stand
one
corrected.
to the west didn't have the seasonal above-ground water flow, because if the ground is froze, water's gonna move. Everything in that forest, in that whole area goes from north to south. So I wasn't positive that it would work to what we wanted it to work. It ended up filling out. But if it didn't, that's why some of the dirt was left, that's why they didn't haul it, cause it could have been pushed back in if it didn't work,
All
but
the
it
dirt
worked.
was left.
Correct,
All the dirt was
Correct.
left, on both ponds.
correct.
But when you saw the pond didn't materialize, why did you not scrap the one pond, fill it back in? Because those ponds did not fill up, they were dug in, what, July? Cause you contacted me in August, and they were already in. But they did not take any water until
The following year.
following
That
year.
usually happens.
And then they,
It's a
and then
year
they.
for these ponds to fill up.
And then they filled up, and then
Right.
where we're at now is you get the commissioners that are going out and viewing these ponds now, are looking at them, and yeah, they look harmless, cause all they are right now is not the dozer work where they were pushed back. They are the bottom, and they hold 5 feet of water, and I can tell you that exactly, because I took a pole out there when I went out with Barbara, and we put it down, there is 5 feet of water in them as they sit now. And that is actually in the bathtub size hole that's on the bottom, that's where it was dug with the excavator. Okay, but the problem is that fills up from there, that's not the high water mark. Where you have those sides going up like this, where it looks like, oh yeah, if you slid down, those are underwater. And they will be back underwater in May, this May. As I have pictures of them and documentation of them, those will be back full. And that's a minimum 10 foot of water to 12 feet of water in that hole. In those two holes, both of them.
Well, normal wildlife ponds have a section that's deep, that always holds water, and
Okay.
then the other part shallow. Because the one up by where you hunt, if you look at
Right,
it.
that's a shallow one.
Dig
I'm gonna jump in here, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead,
I have
go
to.
ahead.
First of all, they're not gonna meet the 3-parameter approach. You know that. Do you know what the 3-parameter approach is?
What are the 3 parameter?
Hydric soils, hydrology, and plants.
Mhm.
You didn't have to dig in that deep because you got a clay lens there. If you'd have done a soil survey, just put a damn probe down, you had a clay lens, you could have dug them 2.5 feet, you hit that clay lens, that would have held water. There's your you know, a place you didn't have to go 10 feet.
Well,
Now, let me just say this.
I'll disagree,
Now, let me
but
just,
that's
okay,
okay.
fine, because I built a lot of damn wetlands, okay? Let me just say this, the other thing. You're lucky, because you're up, you put those in, I approached, I said, you could have effectively drained the damn wetlands that are to the north of it. Probably are. In the one system, it's right next to it. Not regulated, of course, you knew that, it's not regulated. You know, you could effectively, it's not regulated. So you didn't probably think about that, but I take umbrage with the fact that that's the way they develop wildlife ponds. Really? You know, that could have been a shallow, nicely done system where you'd had water in there.
For
So,
just limited
anyway.
times of the year. The
No,
reason
no,
they
no, no,
were
no,
put
no.
in-
That pond you're talking about, and I have a picture right here on my phone. This fall, correct me if I'm wrong, it has not been any drier than it has this past season, am I correct?
It's the driest season I can remember.
Okay, I've been going in there for 5 years. That little pothole pond holds water around the calendar year. I've been in there at every month out of the year, and there's water in it, and there was water in it this fall before it froze, that my Springer is this high, and it's up to her back in the center. In the spring and summer, it's a little higher, but not much. But it literally holds water the entire 365 days out of the year. I've never seen it dry, and I've never seen it with less than a foot of water.
Those ponds were put in for a water source, food, water, and cover. That pond there that you're talking about was just a push out. I had them do that, to create a little water source for a few years. If you go up and look at that, this.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. But if you go up and look at it in, May or whenever, June, you'll notice this far below the water is solid algae growth. Pretty soon, it's gonna balloon on the top, it's gonna cover it all the way across, and it will not be a water source.
How long is this gonna take? Because I've been going in there for 5 years. It was in there for a lot longer than that, and I have not seen an algae bloom in that pond, period.
Well, that was put in when the openings were put in, correct? So basically, I don't know if it's been that long, but look at it in the spring, and you'll see very shortly, it's gonna be a solid mat of algae and that mucky stuff, and that's what it's going to be, because it's not deep enough.
I have a question. Who
Mhm.
did you get approval to do this project from?
Basically, we came in front of the county board, we talked about the UP Wildlife,
No.
DNR.
You went in front of the county board and discussed this?
the DNR, UP Whitetails and Wildlife Unlimited wrote a grant for what, beyond the other grant,
And
for
you have
Wildlife
that
Unlimited.
grant?
Al had an offer, they wrote it.
Okay,
I
do
helped
they
to
have
write
it?
Yes,
So so UP Whitetails wrote a grant for county property, which gave permission to go ahead and do this?
and in that grant, the DNR approved the grant, Wildlife Division
Okay.
paid for most of it, and then there was food plots to be put in.
I'm just talking about these ponds,
Well,
please.
walking trail seeds.
I understand. I wanna know about
And a
these-
water source.
Who approved those ponds? Who did you say, this is the way we're gonna dig these ponds? Okay.
No more than openings or anything else.
When was this work done?
Through the last, 4 or 5 years?
No, I'm talking about those pits. When were those pits done?
I'd have to look back, 2 years ago? Were they?
2 summers ago.
Okay.
Not this summer, the summer before.
Yeah, that would be last year.
Yeah, a complete year. This will be the,
So they were done last year.
Because it was
and-
the final thing to do.
Okay, but you won and said to the board, we're gonna go in and put these pits, and we're gonna have to put concrete barriers and a sign that says danger.
let's see the back there.
The
Danger.
The sign went up when people started complaining to say, okay, it is deep, then
But
leave
why
it to the
did,
wildlife.
but why did you use the word danger?
Well, people, when they see that, then hopefully they'll stay out, eh?
Hopefully?
Yeah, it's for wildlife.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Move
gonna
on.
disagree on the
Yeah, move on.
Well,
ponds
we're gonna
forever.
disagree because we got a liability, because we did it. Cordell Forest Property County letter, we fulfilled your letter, but we still need it in inventory. we've gotten our stuff out of there, and we've returned what, is shared use, and we didn't remove anything else except for Nate's hammer, which was owned by him.
No, that wasn't, that was.
That's sorry. But we need to address the liability of those ponds. And then G, removing district equipment from county property by December 31st. I think everything's off. The only thing that would be left up on the Cornell Forest is potentially a gate that we own, and we can fight over that later on. Fair enough? Again, on Stanic's property, which blocks an ingress-egress easement 30 feet onto county property. Is that accurate?
That'll be up to you and Gary.
Is that accurate? Okay. Is that the district's gate?
It was put in by the district, but
Okay.
I believe 100% it was paid out of park money. But I'm gonna look back,
Okay.
cause I don't believe we would have paid for that gate there.
Well,
There was 2 gates, I believe, that were covered under the district, and that's after the property was bought, cause there's one coming off of Cedardale Road, and there's another one coming off of the easement, all the way through, Stryker's property.
this will be part of our succession plan, getting those facts.
Okay,
So that your facts match what the county's gonna share with the DNR.
okay.
Fair enough?
Yep.
Anything else, Jen? General public comment.
I have a comment, Christine Williams, Ford River Township. I do not recall the exact month, and year of the board meeting minutes for the Conservation District, but I do recall the content of the discussion, and it was Rory Mattson suggesting to his board that the Conservation District had paid for Gary Stanic's gate, but that because it was already put up, and already in place, that the board should give the gate to Gary Stanick, and the board had all unanimously said yes to that. So I do believe that there is written, evidence showing that that the Conservation District owned that gate. At least that's what is printed in the meeting minutes. The parks, it does not say the parks bought that gate. It says the Conservation District did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else for public comment?
Briefly, Ann McNamara, Escanaba. Hate to talk about the ponds again, but the county has been aware of the dangerous condition of those ponds for a long time, as has the district. When I say a long time, I'm saying a year plus. I brought it up to both boards. As far as the district's liability, it sounds to me as though the county is basically absolving you of any responsibility by saying, we don't want you to make any changes. We want those dangerous conditions to exist. In fact, we insist that you get off that property, whether they're breaching the contract or not, I don't know. So I think a good argument could be made that the county is really effectively absolving you of that responsibility. You know, they're saying, no, we want this dangerous condition. You know, you've tried to rectify it. They knew of those plans. It wasn't a big surprise. That was brought up by Gary's plan, where you tried to effectively look at some of the problems that there were up in that property, the Cornell property, some of the things that the DNR is bringing up now, which is a surprise to the county. So I guess I don't want to say don't worry about the liability, but the county's not going to give you any type of an answer. They're not going to voluntarily absolve you of that, but I think effectively they are.
Thank you. And
That's
for
just my
clarification,
thoughts.
You mean Nate's plan?
Oh, Nate's plan, I'm sorry.
It's Gary's gate, or it's our gate on Gary's property. Nate's
Yes,
plan.
yes.
Excellent. Wish Commissioner Barron was still here to hear that, but he can get it on live stream.
Certainly.
Anybody else for public comment?
I just have a question regarding the trailer,
Name,
Kelly
just-
Bank.
yeah.
I'm just getting there. Kelly
Sorry.
Bank in Hope in the City of Escanaba. As far as trying to figure out, you know, who owns that trailer, how it's registered, the person entity that pays the insurance on that trailer would probably have to have it registered in order to get insurance on that trailer. So that would be a good place to start to see who pays the insurance. Is it the district, is it the county, is it Rory Matson? Cause that's where it would be registered, as far as I know. That's all, thank you.
That might be a one-time payment on the, oh no, not on the, yeah, on the insurance, I think even.
Well, it would still be logged.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Can I do public comment? Or no?
Sure.
Or in the next
Yeah,
one?
no,
board
you,
member comments?
please, please, please.
Either one, what do you want?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to board comments
Okay.
and everybody will be happy.
You have to realize, when we were managing the parks and the forest, yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Rory said the conservation district bought the gate. But what pot we charged it on, right? Because we were buying, I mean, that's no different than anything I've ever done up there, that the district bought it. But what pot it came out of. You see what I'm saying? We'll prove who owns it, correct, the gate. So that's all I wanna say,
Oh,
is
yeah.
it very well could say it, but the reason that was brought up, there were some individuals, if you follow the road like we did that day and you end up at the end, there's a camp up there. They brought up that they said, who bought that gate? And they kept it up and kept it up and kept it up after Gary purchased it. The gate was placed there with the permission of Plum Creek, way before Gary bought it. And the reason was, if you go up and you look, you'll find some big boulders there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll find a big post. That was the original walking trail between UP Whitetails and Mead Corporation way back. And those big boulders were put in, except they were round, they were small, so they got moved. So when we were trying to figure out of people who would say, well, you know, we don't want everybody four-wheeling by us when we hunt, is there a place where people can just walk? And, originally, and can you put in some walking trails? We went to that spot first because it was the original walking trail, and the same foresters that work for Lime Timber now, Weyerhaeuser, knew that, and they said that's a good thing. So I went and talked to Nate, and not this Nate, and said, can we put that there, right where those boulders are on the side, there's a few, and the gate? It's your property. What are you gonna do? I said, it's gonna be a walking trail. They said, fine, because that's what it used to be. So, because of that, I brought it to the board after the fact and kept saying, you know, everybody's pounding on this, that, you know, the district paid for a walking trail, and now, my God, Gary Stanek bought it and it's his. So I said, I talked to Gary, does the board want him to pay back the money? But we would've put it back in what pot it came out of. And the board said, no, we're running it, we're not gonna worry about $100 gate. And basically, that's what they voted, if I remember right, from that meeting, that they voted that, no, we're not asking them to pay for the gate. And that was the end of it. But I'll try to check the best I can and figure out the year, cause it was right after the forest was purchased. What pot did that come out of?
Right, but given the fact that it's just the tiny little corner of Gary's 40, and 30 feet beyond is a big landing area that you could park cars, why wouldn't you have taken that gate and moved it up 30 feet so that people could park there and then go into the county forest?
Because also, that was the original place that they blocked it off, so we just did it. You know, Ed?
But, right, but on the north side of that, off the main trail coming back south, it says private property had no access. So you're really actively discouraging that? And do you see, like, our perspective of a conflict of interest, the fact that you own property with Gary Stanek, like the next 40 over, and drop down? So why wouldn't, on behalf of the public, why wouldn't you just take that gate and just move it up 30 feet and allow people to park on county property, get out and use that walking trail? Instead, you discourage it. Because if you come from the new parking lot to Main all the way over, I mean, that's what, like a half-mile walk? All you had to do is move it up 30 feet.
this is our perspective of why we feel you have like a major conflict of interest.
Well, one of the things, Joe, too, is Gary Stanek was approached a year ago, 2 years ago by me. And it's a corner. I think it's, if you go to the center of the road now, it's 280 feet to the property. Got it, if I remember right.
I went, I found the pin,
What's that?
I found the pin.
Oh, yeah, it's a section corner. Should be bigger than a pin, I hope.
Well,
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
continue.
280 feet just on the corner. He doesn't use it. He doesn't care. So I had approached, not the county board up in the thing, but I've talked to a couple county board members about Gary would be willing to, make a deal there where that gate gets removed and moved up, just like you said, probably. And my recommendation is you would move it right up to where the other walking trail comes from. There's
That's
a
what
nice,
our recommendation is
there's
too.
a nice upland piece that you would push.
Why have we fought about this for this long if this was?
Well, we didn't fight about it.
Yeah, we
You guys just
have.
brought it up and brought it up
Oh,
in a
God,
meeting.
no, I've been
Oh, no.
fighting this
Well,
for,
did anybody ask me or Gary? No.
yes.
It's
We-
posted private property, no
we-
trespassing.
In fact, we broached the
Oh, man.
subject when we made the side-by-side round through the property.
I heard you when we were in there.
And if you would've brought that up, and yeah, I'm done.
So anyway, a parking lot could be put in there and it'd be good.
My question is, why didn't you bring it to your own board? Why wasn't this discussed? Any of this?
Because we were leaving the parks.
No, you're leaving the parks, but you're still digging pits, and,
Wait a minute,
no,
wait a minute.
you had a long time.
Let's move on.
Hold
This
on.
is, we beat this horse till it's dead. Let's go.
This is our last opportunity to
Joe,
get the
Joe,
record
Joe.
straight.
This is public comment, Rory has the right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm way
to
past
3
3
minutes
minutes.
uninterrupted.
But unless I solicit him for more.
But you
Okay.
guys helped move it past 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Anything else? Anything
You have
else?
anything else, Roy?
No.
We don't wanna cut you short.
I apologize.
Board. What was the board? Nate, we'll start with you.
I pretty much covered everything I've got.
Glenn?
I'd like to bring you up to speed. I went to the annual conference in Shandy Creek. It was really well done, very informative. I went to several district board meetings to bring the new board members up to speed on what our responsibilities are. You can go online, and I think you can look at the slides, if I'm not mistaken. You can't get the verbal part of it, but you can look at the slides. I would recommend it, and I would recommend that down the road, everyone goes to something like this, training sessions, because our responsibilities are quite extensive, actually. And to read the manual for the it's about 140 pages, it lists everything the districts are involved with. But it was really, really well done, and I recommend that folks follow up on that, other board members follow up. And I'd also like to probably next time, not this time, but I wanna talk about doing another committee, an education committee, which I think might be critical for us as well, so.
And that was the Michigan Association of Conservation.
Michigan Association of Conservation Districts, right. And so all the top people were there.
And just so you know, I would've went, but I had jury duty.
Yeah, no, not.
And I'd much rather went there.
Not criticizing, I'm just saying.
140-page book or not, I'd much rather would've went.
Well, whenever, my point is, whenever they do if they ever do training sessions, I recommend that all the board members, to partake of them. 'Cause they're
Yeah, let's sound
really
back,
well
'cause
done. So, anyway, just thought I'd let you know it was very informative.
Looking at me? I missed the meeting. I was at home in bed. What else to say?
All right, should I finish it? Rory, you are an incredibly talented person. And I know that we are at loggerheads more often than not, but you are a talented person, and I would say, I wish you had this board for the last 30 years, because I think with oversight, could even done more. I mean, I wanna mimic what Steve says, you are an incredibly talented person. I just do not understand
some of the motivation of what you do, and, you know, I have a quote, it's out of the Tao Te Ching.
Bob Barron now?
It's out of the Tao Te Ching. What is a bad man but a good man's teacher? So, I learn a lot from you, I appreciate your approach, you're an incredibly likable person. Like I said, you are a likable person, but man, I wish we weren't on the other side of so many issues. And, you know, I wish you the best in retirement. I wish we had more time to work together, because I think with people that actually took an interest in what you did, you wouldn't have had to do as much as you did alone. And I understand, you know, and I agree that what you've done with the parks along with Steve is incredible. But man, gotta learn where that boundary line is and don't step over it. You know, good luck. I'm sincere. I really think you are
appreciate
talented.
that.
Yeah, 100%. And I do wish you the best of luck in retirement.
I'd like to make a quick comment. I had this talk with Glenn. Remember, now that you guys are the board, obviously we serve the landowners and things, but probably my downfall, and I've said it for a long time, I was the forester. Oh my God, was that beautiful. I didn't care if I worked 60, 70, it was just beautiful. You go out and you help people. Then, county board came and said, would you please take over the parks? They were closing. Okay, no problem. Found Steve, in February? And I think we took over in October of 11. Then, well, we need you to do the soil and erosion. And I'm a guy who doesn't say no. And so pretty soon, what ended up happening too, in the manager position, which Rachel knows, she used to be a manager, was not funded. Well, it was funded way back for $7,000. That's all the district got when I started in the 80s. Then it went to 11. Then in the heyday, we got $20,000 called the Gateway. And that lasted 1 year. And then Governor Granholm cut it to 19. The following year, she zapped it, gone. So there's never been money for that position. So you put on a manager, and it takes 3-4 years to get good and do things. So what would happen is, you know, they'd leave after a year or 2 years, and then you're sitting there with no manager, or before it was administrative assistant, so the board would say, can you do that too? Well, sure. So what I'm saying to you, and I think Glenn gets it, because we talked about it, don't overpack your manager, because if you do, they're out doing the field work, they're trying to do this, and you can't dot every I and cross every T. You're going so fast, you rely on a ton of people, and good grant people, you hope, but when they move on, then you just move on, and all those records that I know you're fond about and everything aren't kept, and they're not in a place, you're guessing in the winter that these managers filed stuff, and a real good one is, I haven't went to a storage building, but when you and Glenn were in there, you asked for the Simply policy book. Christ, we don't have that many policies. We had to have the ones that Rachel had. It was a white binder, and it was sitting on because that's where Tina was, it was sitting on the desk, not on the desk, in a little file cabinet. I think Steven remembers it. Where in the hell did that go? I mean, we had it. I know nobody ran off with that. And I can't find it anywhere in the office, so I think I'm gonna go out, because it's just driving me wacko, and get in that thing and say, where did that hell did that binder go? Because Tina started to put it together as one of the first managers. And I know she had the new ones in there, whatever she could find in the minutes, made copies, but, so you sit there and go, but I mean, it's just a thing. So when you guys get a manager, let he or she be the manager, and then maybe reach out, but if you want to, I know you guys have a real interest in invasives, right, and things like that, is try to, if you write grants, try to get a field person who can do it, that they can just supervise. Because but part of it is, you have the money to do it now. When I started, the districts had 0, and on September 30th, even if we kept a dime, we had to give it back to Michigan Department of Ag. So you started with 0, you started paying people, but I think it was my second year, you know when I got my first paycheck, and it started October 1? February, the middle. That's when the money came, because they dink around at the state level. So you have the money now where you can do some things with it. It's really well set up financially. So I hope you guys use that, and I guess that's my words of wisdom. Don't overwork somebody, you know, who's willing to overwork, cause they will. But the problem is, and you got some in the office now, but the problem is, they'll start not dotting i's and crossing t's. And that'll drive you crazy.
Well, yeah, appreciate that,
So I
Rory.
appreciate what you say.
Absolutely.
And I'm kinda hoping, you know, the district was my life, 35 years, so in the future, if you guys need something, just ask, I'm not leaving.
Just remember what Gary Lee said.
What's it, I
What
know,
Gary Lee told me.
no, I know, he knows,
Okay.
yeah, he knows what, you know, what I
Okay.
do.
Awesome.
So,
All right, with that,
I have one.
And I wanna thank you and
Yeah.
enjoy your retirement. I hope you really do.
Well,
Maybe we
I'm
can go
listening to
fishing
you a
some,
lo- yeah.
maybe you can go fishing sometime.
I'm listening to you where you go fishing and go hunting, and I'm going, shit, I'm working.
But Rory, just kind of a play off of what both you and Joe talked about as far as being worked and overworked and being a very capable person, is you're a great example of how we don't want to push somebody beyond
Right,
what they can do.
but I will get the job done.
And I appreciate that. I
Hell or high
appreciate what
water,
you're doing.
yes.
all right,
Thank you.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
all right, so moved. We all good with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Aye.
6 o'clock, right on the dot. Thank you very much.
Give me